What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And we are here for day 2 of the 7 Deals in 7 Days Challenge. We are excited today to present our second day here. And if you thought day 1 was insane, day 2 is going to get even crazier. We're going to get more into the implementation part of exactly how you can get the best head start in 2024 for wholesaling real estate and everything you need to know about wholesaling houses. 2024 had the best chance possible. I'm telling you guys, if you spent all this money trying to learn wholesaling real estate and you spent $4 or $5 grand for a seminar type thing, this is going to be really the event we're doing. And it's absolutely for free. And we're here to get you going. Again, there's no pitch fest at this. There's no, I got you at the end. Oh, here's a $4,000 program, slash it in half. And you go, no. We just want to help you guys out for you to become the best wholesaler possible. We were excited about this. We're excited. Everyone can probably end up today with a plan for yourself to become successful in it. So you have the best shot, the trampoline to success, that rocket boost to success for wholesaling houses. We helped a lot of people yesterday. That was really exciting.
Good.
And let's try and get into it. Let's talk about this and really teach you exactly in the 7 Deals in 7 Days Challenge, the best thing you can do to become successful in wholesaling real estate. So let's break it all down. Let's get into this. The 7 Deals in 7 Days Challenge. Guys, make sure you network in the comments. This is a live event. Let everybody know in the comments where you're coming at, what you're doing, where you're going to do deals. What is up, Clay? Clay is out here. Clay is in Palm Beach, St. Lucie County, locally to us.
Right.
We got New Hampshire. We got Connecticut in the house, right? We got all these people. Love to see it. Everyone networking in the comments. Love to see everyone in here from across the country. Love to see it, guys. Make sure you network in the comments. We got Vegas in the house. What is up? What is up? We're pumped up. Wisconsin, Tacoma, Maryland. We're going on. But this is the 7 Deals in 7 Days Challenge. Let's talk about this and let's get into it. So we are here. We are in day 2 of the challenge. And so today we are going to learn how to talk to motivated sellers. We are going to talk of exactly how to value your deal. You know, a lot of people ask, like, how do I figure out if I have a good deal or not, right? Or how do I figure out what my MAO is, my LAO, all these things, right? And then you're going to figure out today exactly our acquisition systems, right? Exactly what we tell to the sellers to get them to really sign a contract for deep discounts, right? And actually get them to sign it and do really well. And then last but not least, you know, how to sell that wholesaling deal you have under contract for the best assignment fees. Also, there's a lot of stuff in there. We're going to talk about title companies, how to find the best ones, virtual wholesaling 101, exactly a game plan, steps to wholesaling, everything you need to know to get your first deal this month, and heck, even your 7th deal in 7 days. This is what we're talking about today. We're excited about this. We're ready to go. So let's talk about this. And so let's just kind of get into it. Let's try to learn how to talk to motivated sellers, right? I think the first thing we have to understand, if you're watching this as a beginner, you're probably really nervous to talk to a motivated seller, right? I mean, I was nervous talking to my first seller. I know you were nervous talking to your first motivated seller. It's a little scary. And the only way to get over that is by just doing it, right?
Yeah. So when you deal with a motivated seller, it's you have to target a list and you got to figure out how to get into them. We're taking care of something here. So the reality is most wholesalers, they don't focus on motivated sellers. In fact, I'm here to tell you, most of the wholesalers I deal with, you guys send deals and I want to help you out, but you can't just look for houses for sale. That's actually the last thing you want to do. You got to find some form of motivation. And the biggest question is like, Rick, Zach, how do I find motivation? And you have to go out and seek it. This is the part of marketing of wholesaling. Is going to make or break you. But you've got to remember, when we're talking to anybody looking to sell their house, if there's not a form of motivation, either the house is motivated or they had a motivating factor, it's going to be problematic. Why? Because you're going to waste time. How are you going to get a deep discount when someone's already got it listed on market 15 to 20% above price and you're looking to get a deep discount? Most of you guys you skip this part. And this is where you make the biggest mistake. Don't waste your time on people that don't want to sell you a house.
Oh, it drives me crazy. You guys, when it comes to talking to these motivated sellers, it's all about just doing it. It's the best way. You know, one of the best analogies I hear is you can't read a book on how to ride a bike, right?
No.
And that's the truth. Talking to sellers, acquisition, all that. It's like riding a bike. You just got to do it. And yes, guess what happens when you ride a bike? You're going to scrape your knee. You're going to fall off of it, right? Does that mean you're never going to do it ever again? No. You just got to do it. And the more you do it, the better you are.
It's going to hurt a little bit too.
There's going to be a little bit of pain.
And I'm not talking about physical. You get a little bit tired and stuff, but your ego and your personality is going to get hurt. And that's where most of you're just not used to it. Remember, the biggest part of wholesaling is you actually have to grow out of your old self to take on this challenge, because you admit your previous version of you wasn't what you wanted. And you should grow till the day you die. But don't be one of those people that tries, you ever see, so you ride a bike. I was old school, man. No knee pads, no nothing. Yeah. Just let the blood fly. He'll figure it out. That's what my dad said. And then like sometimes today, some of you guys are like, you put bubble wrap all the way around your kids. It's not going to work. Knee pads, stuff like that. We give you the safeguards. You've got to find motivated sellers. But remember, you can read a book on wholesaling. You can take a class on it. But until you immerse yourself, you are not going to learn the skill set.
Exactly. So let's kind of talk about talking to motivated sellers. The first thing we have to understand is stop being scared. You cannot be scared by doing this. You just got to do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, so when we talk to motivated sellers, most of your anxieties and stuff is just in your head. This actually has nothing to do with wholesaling at this point. See, most of you will seek out the list. You'll find the list. You'll actually take action, go out, reverse driving for dollars, every technique, cold calling, and then you get to either meeting with the seller or talking to them on the phone and you freak out. Why? Because you're not used to it. You're scared. It's okay. Scared means, in this setting, the way we're teaching you, it means you're growing and you're going to be uncomfortable. You've got to stay in that uncomfortable to grow. Or a lot of you guys, what you'll do is you'll retreat back to what's most comfortable. You'll do things that are monotonous that you know how to do because it soothes your soul. Guys, we have to break out of it. Guys, and here's the really cool part. When you meet with one or two sellers, that scared goes away in like 2 minutes, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's gone. It's just, in fact, I'm here to tell you the anxiety is 10 times worse than the actual meeting. They're just regular people like you and me. They are no different. In fact, they're actually seeking out help. And that's where you have to come in and help out these sellers. But you can't help them out when you're scared and you're not confident in yourself. And I always tell people, listen, they always say, Rick, what if they ask me a question I don't know the answer to? Dude, simple. You have a team of people you work with, me, Zach, everybody who's online here communicating and networking, and go like, tell you what, that's a great answer. Let me reach out and I will get you an answer and I'll get back to you. Can you give me 1 hour? I'd rather you tell the truth than sit there and BS people. Get the truth. Go to your title company, real estate attorney, Zach, Rick, Flip with Rick Plus, whatever you need. But in today's age, don't lie to people. They know when you lie to them. And once you tell them the truth, they go, you know what? Great question. Let me get that answer. I'll get right back with you.
Exactly. So we got to stop being scared. One old Greek philosopher type quote was, we suffer more in our thoughts and imagination than we do in reality.
It's true.
Totally true.
100%.
The thought of talking to the seller and the what ifs, you suffer more in something that's not going to happen than what actually truly happens. And we got to stop doing that. The next part is we have to become relatable. I hate these people in wholesaling that hello, my name is Zach with Zach Homebuyers. How are you doing today? Does that sound real? No. Do you talk to your mom like that? And let me be honest, when you talk to a seller, you got to talk to your seller like you talk to your grandma or your mom. Hey, grandma, how are you today? You don't talk like that. That sounds crazy.
No, right? and people can sense it. Guys, we've come from a society that's been so fake, really, the last 20 years. Oh. People are looking for the opposite. So how do you beat this? Just be authentic.
Yeah.
Honestly, it doesn't mean be an idiot. No. It means be the best version of yourself and help people out. But if you go, hey there, I'm here to buy your house and I'm going to give you the best deal possible. And they go, dude, I don't understand. Who are you? Remember, people do business with people they trust. If you can't get that trust, I promise you, you're not going to get good deals. And so many people go in there and they try to imitate. I don't need you to be Zach. I don't need you to be Rick. Guess what? Oh. God only made one of you. I promise you, you have a unique ability that nobody else has. If you're funny, if you're empathetic, if you're really good at reciting numbers and memory, use it because that shows your human emotion and that's going to differentiate you. I don't need people walking around with a bunch of robots like me and Zach. And the problem is we had this point where everyone was like, let's put on a jacket. Let's be automatic. I'm higher than you. So you've got to find a way to look your seller in the eye. This thing up here, the worst thing you can do, don't talk over your sellers. How do you avoid that? Be yourself. Just be authentic. Educate yourself. Learn to talk to people. Learn the flow of words. That's what we're here about today.
I agree. It's so ridiculous. Our competition sometimes in the market talking like that. When you hear me talk to a seller, it's, hey, how are you doing today? Like, it's how I talk to regular people. Like, just myself. And this comes back to another point here. Don't sound like a salesman. People don't like when you talk like that because they know you're talking like that to get something out of the conversation. Like, you're trying to get a contract. You're trying to get them to sell. Like, it's salesy. I hate that stuff, right? You just got to sound like a regular person and just have a regular conversation. And I'm always when I'm talking to a seller, it's like, this deal doesn't fit. No big. I'll just go to the next one, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, you need to go to me. And like it feels weird, right? And like people, it's like this. I can't explain it, but it's this sense of energy. When you talk to someone and they're trying to manipulate you. A lot of people think of sales as manipulation when it's really not, right? The process of talking to a seller is building trust and really just qualifying and asking questions. There's no selling at all with this when talking to the seller. And when I have a regular conversation with them, I'm more like, I don't even know if I want to buy this. Like, let me ask you some questions about it to see. If it's a fit, it's a fit. Versus, it's a 4-bedroom. Okay, well, and like it seems fake. And when you sense that fake energy, someone's not being truthful with you. And when people are not truthful with you, you subconsciously can't trust them. And so that's why, kind of people's guards are down when you're just talking regularly. But when you're talking like, it's stressful. And selling the house like this is stressful for the seller. You don't want to be stressful for them too.
Here's a perfect example. If you had to put a new roof on your house and one of your good friends was working for a reputable roofing company, do you think you would go through Google and search all that? Or are you just going to reach out to your friend?
No.
Why? Because you have established trust. People want to do with business people. They want to do business with people they know, they trust, and are just like them. So you've got to be like-minded. Keep it in mind. Because if you can befriend people and build an amazing relationship, that's the hard part of what we do. And a lot of people call the sales process. I've gone on a limb. I go, dude, we are guides. Once we find our targets, we just got to kind of land them. We got to bring them in on the runway, and they will zigzag all over. That's what we're here to talk about.
I agree. And so, you always talk about that. Like, what if you were going to be your motivated seller is your grandma and you're going to buy her house? What are you going to do? They say, oh, my, I can't afford the tax payment. That's why I got to sell it. Are you going to say, oh, okay, grandma, what's the square footage of the property? In an ideal time frame, when would you want to sell the property? Like, you're not going to talk to your grandma like that. You're going to say, what's going on? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, I think a lot of people don't understand that. Like, don't be going on like salesy questions and stuff like that. And here's my number one, right? What's the base square footage of the property, and what are the last permits you've pulled, grandma? Like, just crazy questions.
And here's the problem: if you're authentic, it's transparent, it feels real. If you get too salesy, don't get me wrong. There's some businesses they have to have salespeople, cars and all that stuff. But the reality is, you ever had that salesman that keep using the same line? I'm so sorry you feel that way about your taxes, Zach. And then you just I go, dude, how many times are you going to apologize to me? You're like a robot. And I'm here to tell you, if you get robotic with your sales, it's going to kill your sales. So be you, become highly educated, and learn how to use the words. Honestly, words are about timing, tonality, speed. I'll get into that. I'm just here to tell you, be truthful. If you keep using the same tired old line, they sense it. If you apologize to me more than twice, I feel a sales pitch coming every time. I'm so sorry you feel that way.
It drives me crazy. I don't understand it.
I'm so sorry.
Just don't sound salesy. And then the last part is just to focus on the script. Guys, right here, we have a script for you. You just got to focus on it. You can't get crazy on it. You just got to stick to that script, because a lot of you guys try to wing it, what to tell to a seller, and y'all don't know what you're doing. And just saying it for a beginner, it's crazy. So stick to our script we have here. Let's break down our seller script. And it's pretty simple, right? We explain this in the same way.
And guys, before we get in the script, I'm here to tell you, the challenge is a lot of you guys rehearse it in your head. You do it aloud, maybe in your home, in your bedroom, in your home office. But the reality is, the minute you get in front of a seller, it's a whole, like, you are now under what we call stress, tension. Mm-hmm. and you've got to practice this.
Exactly. So let's break down the script. So the script is
It's basically, it's how we gauge our motivated sellers. So this is the point where we're into qualifying the sellers. And when we're qualifying the sellers, it's simple. Okay. What I like to do is simplify things. So I create acronyms. So MCTP, if you're new to the channel, check it out. We have this all in great detail on freewholesaling.com. But this is the acronym we use for qualifying sellers. This is the point where you're going to verify you actually have somebody that's worthwhile spending time and investing with it. So start out with like motivation. Obviously, we need some sign and form of motivation.
Yeah, exactly. So we got motivation, condition, time frame, price. So what we're going to do right now is go over each one here. MCTP. So MCTP is the acronym we use when talking to a seller. So when you're talking to a motivated seller, oh, what do I say? Someone literally, all we have to do is the seller says, yes, I want to sell my house. What do I say? MCTP. So let's break down MCTP. Number one, motivation.
Correct. So at this point, here's what you don't want to do. Mr. Seller, tell me what your motivating factor is to sell your house. They're like, what are you saying? So this word is more for us, the wholesalers, so we can understand. We have to find the motivation. Now, the really cool thing about MCTP, sometimes seller will like skip. So you ever been going through a script and like someone like jumps to the bottom and the salesperson gets all like, oh my God, this is why I like acronyms, because you can just keep going through it. So I'm simply going to start out and find out, Michelle, tell me a little bit about what's going on with you in the house. I'm very interested. I want to kind of learn your story and your background. Most sellers will sing like a canary at this point. Honestly, I've sometimes just asked this question, and a lot of times they'll go through the entire MCTP for me. But I'm going to let them give me their initial line. Keep in mind, a lot of times sellers will give you their best foot forward. I've had people in some of the worst financial dire straits, the worst dilapidated house. They tell me, you know what, everything's great. Everything's really good. And this is what I need to do. If they go with more of like you, it doesn't even make sense and add up. I'm going to keep moving down the MCTP. But honestly, when I start in the beginning, most people will tell me about a quarter to half of their story. Remember, the better the listener you become, the more money you make in wholesaling. This is your job to let them talk. The more they talk, you're gathering intel at this point. It might be good, it might be bad, but the idea is I've got to decide where I'm going to lead this seller down the funnel. You're going to guide them, and we got to make progress. How do we do it? We just simply ask. So here's my open line. Mr. Seller, tell me a little bit about what's going on. Tell me about the house. I'm really interested in talking and meeting with you. And then just let them talk. The more they talk, the better you do. So you want to ask. I like to ask open-ended questions when I do this. How do you like to do it?
So motivation is just simple. It's why are you looking to sell the property?
Correct.
And so the next one's condition. So when you're talking to a seller, think of condition. Can you tell me a little bit about the property? How's the roof, AC? Is there any repairs have to be done on the property? You make it pretty simple. How do you do it?
So either they tell you everything or they tell you nothing.
Exactly.
And so if they go, the kitchen, they go, it's good. You're going to have to dig. I go, well, tell me a little bit about the house. And then from this point, you can find out how long they've been there, what kind of repairs. And it usually goes one or two ways, guys. Either they tell you, listen, the house is, they start talking about, they try to make it nice and it starts going down a slippery slope. And then all of a sudden, 5 or 10 minutes go by. If they start turning negative on themselves, I just kind of let them bask in their pain. I'm sorry, because I have to try to help them. And also, I want to see how much emotion they have tied to it. Now, if you're physically in front of them, it's easier. If you're on the phone and you're doing this virtual, you really got to use your listening skills. So the other way is some of them will simply lie to you. The house is perfect, got a white fence. They keep going on and on about how perfect the lawn's manicured perfectly. And I just say, Mr. Seller, sounds like a perfect house. Why on earth would you consider selling it? I'm trying to get their natural reaction. They're obviously talking to you. There's usually a reason. Most people hide. Guys, you've all been on social media. Everybody puts their best foot forward. You have to talk and engage people to really get to the truth. The whole part of what me and Zach are teaching you is if you can get to the truth, you can help people out. If you can't get the truth, you waste a ton of time. So ask them about the condition. And remember, this is the point where you want them talking a majority of the time. And then your job is to guide them. If they're doing yes, no answers, guide them down there. How old's the house? When's the last time you switched out the roof? Tell me more about the bedroom, stuff like that.
Exactly. So that's condition. Now, the next one here is time frame. Time frame is pretty simple. Hey, Mr. Seller, when are you looking to sell the property? When's a good time frame? An ideal scenario or ideal world, when would you be looking to sell it? And just kind of get from there, just trying to see where they're at. Is it a month, a week, a year, when they're looking to sell the property? Then last is P, price. We want to try to get a price out of the seller, right?
Yeah. So just to piggyback on the time frame, to me, it's one of the most critical times because people will go, listen, when you looking to sell the house by, some people go, listen, I have to have it sold by the end of this month because I'm moving with my sister Sally up in New Hampshire. Bingo. Really hyper focused because they want to cut a deal usually right there. If they go like this, I have no idea. Or because if you guys have ever moved, on average, it takes someone 90 days to even go through the basic process. So if they haven't even thought about it and they don't give you an answer, you're a minimum 90 days usually away from striking a deal. Now, I use this as leverage because we're not going to be moving in the house and we can be flexible with it. But time frame's so important. So that moves us on the price. So this is where most of you miss the point. Most of you try to attack price before you even qualify the sellers, and you're literally wasting your time. Everyone's got a price to sell something. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah.
So if you ever get that, hey, if the price is right, I'll sell it. That means you have a non-motivated seller. Just move on, be nice as you can, and then just follow up 6 months down the road. But hey, how do you ask it? I'm real simple about it. I don't ask the word price, ask, offer, list, anything like that, because they have negative connotations to retail. I'm simply going to say, remember, I want to get into my seller's subconscious answer. Because listen, 95% of the people, when you meet with, they already have a bottom line price in the back of their head. If you want to know how to get it, you don't do it like this. Hey, Mr. Seller, what's the cheapest you'll sell me this house right now? That's how I started out wholesaling. That's what I was taught. So I simply say, hey, Mr. Seller, what do you need to get rid of this house? So I'm going to use words. What do you need to let it go? Stuff like that. I'm not going to go price, ask, offer, anything like that. And sometimes they go, what do you mean by that? Really, like, what do you need to move on? Because I want to find out. Remember, I am not a realtor. I'm not asking for full price. And honestly, I have a number I can't go past. So I'm going to fish at this point. Now, at this point, sometimes they give you an answer, but I would say a lot of times they don't. And you guys know that. I see it in your comments all the time. Yeah, I'm out in the field. I spent 7 years just meeting with sellers. I'm here to tell you, it used to frustrate the what out of me. It just like, what do you mean? You've got to give me a price. My teacher said you have to give me a price or I can't move forward. So I constantly got stuck in this challenge, and simply I want to use words to get in your subconscious answer because I want your bottom line price without saying what's the lowest price you'll sell this to me. So we have a couple tricks we're going to teach you at some point in today's training. I'm going to show you methods on how to get this when they don't give you a price. Because a lot of you, I know when I started, I was stumped at this point. I'm like, hey, they won't give me a price. What do I do? I'm going to show you how to do it when we go through the acquisitions training. I'm going to go into detail on this. And guys, it's a lot of fun. Once you learn the skill set, it works out great.
Exactly. And so the next part here is how to talk to motivated sellers, some tips. So let me get some tips here. Again, let's reiterate this. Stop being scared, be relatable, don't sound like a salesman, and focus on the script. Let's bring it from the top here. When it comes to talking to a motivated seller, let's break this all down. When it comes to talking to a motivated seller, number one, stop being scared. Just get over it. It's going to happen.
They're not going to hurt you.
Don't be a little baby about it. Stop being scared. Next here, be relatable. All right? Be relatable. Be like, just have the person understand you and actually get to know you better. I'm telling you, the person who can be more relatable is usually going to win out. And how do people become relatable to you? People like themselves. Shocker. And so if you can match them with energy, that'll be a really good one too. And so you got to be relatable here. Don't sound like a salesman and just focus with our script, that MCTP. So a normal conversation. Yes, I want to sell my property. M, motivation. Why are you looking to sell the property? C, condition. Tell me a little bit more about the property. Time frame. When are you looking to sell the property? And lastly is price. What price or ballpark range you're looking to sell the property for? It's very, very important. When I was first starting out wholesaling real estate, the best line was, can you give me a ballpark? You were looking to sell the property. Just a rough range to help you out a lot. And so that's talking to sellers. And so what we really need to do right now is kind of do our full acquisitions breakdown. So you know exactly how to close motivated sellers. So I'm going to let Rick take the stage here. One of the best acquisitions people. But really quick, we're getting a lot of questions What is it? Is this recorded? Is it live? Is it recorded? This is not live. It's not live, guys. It's live. And so, really quick, just to let everybody know, I love flexing on a guru because I'm live in the comments section. No, we're live. Here's time.gov. Sorry, I have to flex on the gurus. So can we stop with the? Is this live? This is live. I'm doing this live. I never will not do this live. I'm here to help the people out. Okay, this is always a live thing. Ask your questions, network live in the comments, and we're ready to go. And so flex on the gurus in the time.gov. But let's Rick take it away and talk all about acquisitions. So
get out. Go do some more.
Oh, geez.
Okay. So guys, acquisitions, I know a thing or two about this because keep in mind, I spent an entire 7 years door to door, basically selling everybody on wholesaling. And what I learned in the end, I wasn't selling, I was just guiding people because we are not used car salesmen, anything like that. I got no problems with it. I actually respect the industry tremendously, but we have to guide people. And just look at it like a runway. They go left and right. I got to kind of bring them in. So let's walk through it. I want you to understand this. He or she that cares the most about their seller will get the deal. End of story. If you lead wholesaling from, I want to help you instead of, I just want to make a crap load of money and run you over, that is the difference between what me and Zach do and what most people do in wholesaling. I don't have a huge sales pitch for people. I am extremely authentic and I constantly guide them down. And that's the beauty of wholesaling. Everybody's got a different way of doing it. If me and Zach gravitate you toward it, let's jump into it. So I'm going to pop up my screen here. So acquisitions, this is where we acquire contracts to sign properties so we can sell them for a profit. Now, you're not a typical salesman. I told you, you are a guide, and we got you covered on what to say. Let's walk through it, and I want to show you how this works. So we're not salespeople. I tell you this all the time. I'm just going to keep going over. Everyone's like, oh, I got to do sales training for wholesaling. I go, listen, if you have the same tired line every time you do it, the reality is there's only so many objections in wholesaling. And once you understand how to help people out, you can overcome any objection. You see, if you just want to memorize a line, you're going to fail eventually doing it. So we want you to be authentic. Most of what we do is about qualifying and asking quality questions. And once again, we don't sell, we guide. If you understand this distinguishing feature, you will do really well in wholesaling. If you want to come in and you want to treat it like used car sales, you're going to struggle. You're going to lose a lot of great deals. So let's clarify the difference between marketing and acquisitions. You have to understand this part. Remember, so marketing is all about finding and locating people that want to sell. Acquisitions is bringing that jet home and landing it and getting a contract, getting a motivated seller to sign a contract. And guys, we're not here to trick people. We don't lie to people. We're going to tell them the truth and we're going to help them. Pretend you are helping out your grandmother. If that gives you a vision, that is the type of person you have to help. Because if you don't, I promise you, someone's going to come out of the woodworks, usually a family member, and blow you out of the water. I've seen it so many times. If you don't treat your sellers and take great care of them, your deals will fall apart. I see it all the time. Be a human. So what's a motivated seller? Motivated seller they have a reason they need to sell. Now, in my opinion, there's two types of motivation. There is a seller motivation, which means, hey, I got to sell. I got a pressing issue. I've got a foreclosure. I got a code violation. I have an eviction coming up. I have a divorce. I have I'm so sick of renting this property. Those, my friend, are like ideal. Those are the sweet spot. The reality is most of the motivation usually comes from the house. Somebody has a house for 20 years. They never put a nickel in it. And they desperately want to sell because the house is a piece of junk, but they are not truly motivated. And you have to weigh. Now, if you have a motivated house and a motivated seller, it's gold in wholesaling. But the reality is usually most of my leads, and I've been working in the business over 20 years, we have motivated houses. People want to sell it, but they are just not quite motivated. How do we overcome that? It's time and follow-up. So remember, if you ever get both, someone has a foreclosure, the house is, they got to get it sold and the house is in rough condition. Usually, if you just guide them simply down this process, it's usually very easy to get a great wholesaling deal. But we got to follow the rules on how to do wholesaling. I'm here to show it to you. The next one, the conversation, dude, it's all about confidence. And you guys, you can't go to your local grocery store and buy confidence, because if it is, I'd send every one of you out there to get it. Confidence is just a head game. It's just a head game. I've seen people with all the confidence in the world with no skill sets at all, and it like blows me away. You put confidence and skills together, that is the unmatched parallel in wholesaling, and that's what you need to learn. Confidence without skill set, you just talk a lot. You don't get anything done. Confidence with skill set, you can apply it and people believe in you. Why do people gravitate towards people that they feel they can lead them? That's how bosses come. This is what you need to do. You have to lead your sellers. You are a guide. What makes a guide great? If you've ever gone on like a guided trail at like a national park, they know every nook and cranny. Like they're just very good. But actually, most people don't understand this. The guide, they know all about the forest and like all the rocks and the history. But a great guide's one who interacts, builds great rapport, and talks to people. Because usually a good guide gets tipped at the end. If you don't have a great conversation, I don't care how educated you are, people will move on. And the confidence just bodes over it. When they answer questions, they respond without and a but. You have to believe in what you're asking. And if you don't believe in it, you have to find a way. A lot of people go, well, Rick, I haven't done a deal yet. How do I get confidence? Confidence is something you earn, but you have to earn it internally first. And then once your deal comes to fruition, it's like rocket fuel. It's unbelievable. But you're going to have to take a leap of faith and you have to become confident in yourself. This is why I'm here today showing you how to do this. I've taken the financial burden of learning wholesaling out. So always starts out like, who am I? Hey, my name's Zach Ginn. My name's Rick Ginn. He's got his name up there. He didn't switch me out. Me and my partner's looking to buy houses in the area for cash. That's it. So I'm helping you with the confidence because you have a team around you. You can use sellmypaper.com. You can work with them, but don't ever be the person out on the island, because people are like, how do you do this all by yourself? So, hey, my name's so-and-so. We're looking to buy houses in the area with me and my partners. We would love to find a house in this area and buy cash. Remember, you got to find the motivated sellers. Now, what do I want? I just want to buy houses for cash with my partner in Phoenix and Oklahoma, and not as a state, Houston, and it kind of go on. You kind of put your city in there, and it works. Guys, hate to tell you this. This works in every major market out there. We just got to make sure we have buyers for our product. So why I want it? My partner and I like to buy houses for rentals. We do some flips. We do a lot of work. It just really depends on the property. Because a lot of people go like this, well, what are you going to do for it? And you guys don't know the answer. It's simple. Honestly, until the property's bought and closed on, you actually have no idea. You don't know if it's going to be a rental. You don't know if it's going to be a fix and flip. Heck, you might keep it in your own portfolio. As you mature in wholesaling, you can do whatever you want with it. And so many people are like, do I tell them I'm just wholesaling the contract? No, because you don't know the outcome, because most likely you're not the buyer. You're going to sign it to your cash buyer and you don't even know what their final intent with it is. So you don't get pigeonholed. Use this line. It works really, really well. Now, I've always said, God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth, that the writing's on the wall. Either use it or don't. I'm here to tell you, you've got to listen. Listening. If you talk too much in wholesaling, you're going to talk yourself out of deals. The more the seller talks, whoever talks the most gives up the advantage. Why? Because I am just consuming every piece of word you're giving me, and I'm contemplating a plan on how I can solve your problem. If you don't give me information and I talk 80, 90% of the time, you usually freak the sellers out. You don't know what your seller wants until you ask them. How do you get that information? They actually have to talk to you. How do you let them talk to you? Shut your mouth and let them talk. I'm telling you guys, this is one of the key distinctions. I talked way too much when I did wholesaling. And once somebody sat down and said, Rick, just shut your mouth and let them ask a question and shut up. Why do we talk in between gaps? Because you're uncomfortable. Why do we do ums and buts? You're trying to buy time. Why don't you learn the skill sets, ask a question, and shut your mouth? Silence is one of the most powerful closing tools you can ever have. Why? Because it forces your prospect, your lead, to respond with data. Once you have data, you can assimilate a plan. The more you know about your seller, it's much easier to help them out. If you don't know anything, you're going to try to give them a cookie cut plan. I'm going to buy your house 70 cents on the dollar and get it done. They don't want to hear that. You've got to ask the questions. Use your ears. God gave you two. Okay. Now, we have to avoid negative connotation words when we're talking to sellers. Remember, when you and me talk, we can talk about these words all day long. But if you say contract, it is proven, scientifically proven, people get like this nervous reaction with them. You ever had at night, unfortunately I've had this, or you're driving and you see the blue and red lights light up. Now, you're probably not getting pulled over. Maybe they're passing over and trying to get by to you in an emergency, but like your nervous system, your heart starts racing. That's what I'm talking about. So when you start using these words, the one word I didn't put up there, I never use wholesaler when I'm ever talking to a seller. They don't care. They don't give a crap. So stop saying it. So all these words up, investor, contract, I need your signature. We need to use replacement words for them. And I will show you those replacement words. And by the way, they're all at freewholesaling.com. We go into like deep detail on them. Now, I talked earlier about your tone and tonality. We're talking about words. This is where people think sales is all about, I have to memorize a line and respond to the objection. The reality is, if you learn how to use the words, and this is universal in all languages, it's not just English, but you've got to learn how to use your tone and tonality. It's everything. Let me ask you, if I start screaming at you like this, you probably think I'm excited or I'm ticked off. And that's why, because when someone screams or yells, that's what it means. So you've got to understand how you say the words is almost as, if not more important than the actual words you say. If you don't believe me, start listening to yourself, how you talk to your family, how you talk to your friends. They know your patterns. And if your patterns aren't good, you're going to have to go ahead and break forward. Let me give you an example. Some of you don't smile. You don't smile. And I can tell when someone's smiling when they're talking to me. Obviously, when they're in front of me, you have to smile. If you don't smile, you are just a stick in the mud. Now, if I'm on the phone, Rick, how do you want me to smile? Smile even harder. Why? People can feel it's an energy. I don't know how to equate it to you. I got 21 years of data on this. You have to do it. And keep in mind, when your seller is excitable and they're high-pitched or something like that, you've got to match it. If they're slow and they're quiet, you have to match it. It's that simple. Remember, they want to do business with people that are like them. Studies show if you match tonality and you match the speed on how they talk and your tone, you automatically get a certain vibe and you connect with them naturally. Now, listen, this is way above my head type of stuff. And I would love to talk to someone more about this, but I'm telling you, it's true. I've tried this out. A lot of you skip this part right here. Refer back to the acquisitions part on this video and make it come real. Now, how do I build trust and rapport with sellers? Okay. We can use the Ford method. A Ford method is just a way. I'm going to use this method when people are not responding. Now, when someone's responding yes, no questions, you're not asking open-ended questions. You're going to have to dig further. Some people love to talk. Some people don't talk at all. Remember, you are a guide. You've got to walk them. So if you start to getting yes, no answers, it means you're not getting anywhere. You're not getting any data and you're doing more of the talking. So ask an open-ended question. If you remember Ford, this is an old sales technique. And to me, there's a certain time and place for this. When they stop talking, go this. So it basically, you walk through it and it's an acronym, just like MCTP is. Ford. It's not the car company. So F is for family. O is for occupation, R is for recreation, and D is basically their dreams. Ask open-ended question. Just think Ford. They're stuck. They're not talking to me, Ford. So you should already talk about the family. Hey, what did you do a living? Especially if I have old people and you ask them what they did for a living, dude, sit down. Dude, they love to talk. People are so proud of what they did. I'm proud of what I do. I'm proud of what my son does. This is human nature. They like to brag about who they are. Remember, you have to lose your ego in wholesaling. This is the best way to do it. So letting the seller speak. You cannot step over them when they talk. If you like what they say or not, let them always finish. Don't ever talk over a seller. It is disastrous. It shows a hierarchy, and instead of you talking to your seller, you are talking to here. And I mean, guys, look at me. I'm here to tell you, you have to meet your seller eye to eye, because if you connect with them and they like what you're saying and you match their tone, their tonality, and you're using your words correctly and you're letting them speak, you're doing what 99% of most people won't do for that person. You're listening to them. You want to help them. If you truly want to help them, you will do this. If you think you're a know-it-all and you know everything and you're going to stick it down their mouth, I'm coming in right behind you and I'm going to gobble up that wholesale deal. People go, Rick, you spend way too much time with people. I go, look at the amount of deals I do. How much do you think I get paid an hour? Like, come on, let's go. Okay, so I'm telling you guys, and then I already talked about whoever cares about the seller the most gets the deal. One of the truest statements I've ever heard in my life. And I live the statement. I'm an empathetic person. That's the DNA I got. I use it. Remember, we talk about the highest skill set God gave you. I'm just an empathetic person. Sometimes it actually is a problem for me because I do feel for people's problem. I want to help everybody out. Yeah, I love this business. It's changed my life. It's changed my family, and I want to help as many people as possible. So you got to care about people. But remember, you're still running a business. If the numbers don't work, you got to be willing to walk away. We'll talk about that later. So the last thing on this is you got to be authentic. Me and Zach talked about this earlier. Be you. I told you I'm empathetic. I care about people. It's natural for me to connect with people. Honestly, I over connect with people. And sometimes I have to disconnect from a lot of people. But the reality is, if you just be yourself, don't try to be your favorite wholesaler, your favorite influencer. The world doesn't like, we need you. We need you. And people are like, how do I be you? And if you're you, you don't have to act. You don't have to pretend. You can be you and you can get plenty of deals doing that. So this one right here, I'm going to back up before I even put this one on. Let me take this off. Guys, when it comes to wholesaling, one of my big 21 years plus things I learned is remember, our outcome is what? To get a yes. That's our goal. We want to get a yes. I'm here to tell you, I'm okay getting a no. I'm actually a yes or a no is actually a good outcome. The reality is, most of the time, if you don't have training, you know what you're doing, you get a maybe or I'll get back to you. This is what we call the friend zone, and it's literally torture. You don't want to be there. Nobody wants to be the backup prom date. So you have to set things up. A lot of people call it framing it. Me and Zach like to call it conditioning. We're talking about conditioning the seller. And here's how you prevent from being in the friend zone. You ever been in the friend zone? It's kind of a high school place. Now you're a grown adult and you're back in the friend zone. This is where they want to be friends with you, but they don't want to date you and they don't want to marry you. Okay. I'm looking for a commitment. What's my commitment? Yes. If I get a no, be okay with it because they're saving you a ton of time. So how do we do this? Let me go forward. Conditioning sellers. It is an absolute must. I don't let anybody go on my appointments without doing this. So I put this up there so you guys can save this. And it simply says just like this. I do this on the phone before I come out, and I reaffirm it if I go on a physical appointment or I do a virtual appointment on the phone. It said, listen, before we take a look at a house, I don't want to waste your time. I'm usually busy. I usually only come out to look at the property once. So before I come, I just want to make sure you're ready to make a decision. Either it's yes or no. Either you love working with Rick and it's a yes, or I don't like what you're doing and it's a hard no. Either way, I respect you. And at the end, I will do whatever I have to do to help you get your house sold. You have to condition them, because if you do this, you have to make a decision, yes or no. Now, a lot of times if they don't want to make a decision, they'll tell you up front. And then sometimes you have to wait. And sometimes it takes time and circumstances to change it. But keep in mind, if you don't precondition the statement and you get to the end and they go, well, I have to think about it. Or I go, well, listen, John, remember when we talked over the phone earlier and before I met you here today, we agreed we would make a decision today, right? and you just wanted to meet with me, see if I'm going to qualify, see what the offer is going to be, I think we've established all that. What is it that's making you uncomfortable at this point, and how can I help you solve that problem? You see, most of the time, if you do this thing up front, they're going to honor their word because they made your word with you and they can't hide behind it. So they're like, you're right, Rick. You told me, yeah, you need a decision. And then usually you can, and what I do is I use this to help find out what's holding them back. So at this point, it's usually one or two things. But if you don't do this preconditioning statement, you can be a backup, you can be a second fiddle, and I don't want anyone to be stuck in this. This right here took me a good 4 years to learn this. Once I did this, it was a complete game changer for wholesaling. Why? I got much more decisions. And guys, I'm okay getting a no, because sometimes there's just some properties don't work. Honestly, I'm going to get a majority of no's, but maybes, it's like the poison pill. You don't want to take it. So guys, when it comes to the appointment, it's real simple. On the appointment, I'm talking about these are physical. We'll talk about virtual. Walk around the house, point out anything and act like you're buying a car. I know that sounds weird, but like, how do I go and check out the house? Remember, at this point, you should already have an idea of the condition of the house. At this point, you're just going to verify it. And unless something crazy sticks out, 9 times out of 10, you know exactly what you're walking into. Now, the appointment really, once again, this is to build that rapport and make it a huge connection with you and your seller. This is the point you're going to do it. And remember, here's one of the biggest problems I'll tell you guys right now. As a new wholesaler, a lot of you will you'll build amazing rapport. Most of you don't have problems doing that because you're naturally nice people and you like to connect with people. It's normal. Nobody wants to headbutt and fight. But the reality is you have to get to the negotiation. And what's negotiations? It's all about tension. How do you dissolve the tension? Most of you just keep talking. So I used to sometimes go on and on. Now, the problem is if you talk too much and you stay in that rapport zone, you will discredit yourself because you're not doing what you told you were there to buy the house. And if you don't get to the point, the seller's like, you're making them nervous and you're creating tension. So you have to get to your closing line. I call it the transition statement. And so if you find yourself talking too much and you don't want to get to the negotiation, just do like this. And Mr. I could talk to you all day about the kids. You know how much I love spending time with family and going skiing, but we are here for a reason. Do you mind if we talk about the house and figure out if we can do a solution for you? That is your transition statement. Now you're going into negotiations. And if you understand that, let me back this up. If you understand that, because guys, I've been doing this 21 years. I'm here to tell you, a lot of wholesalers get stuck in the rapport zone. If you stay in it too long, it's going to be a problem. Another line you can do is like, Mr. I got to tell you, when we're done talking and buying your house, I'll always precondition them. We can carry on this conversation afterwards. So you get them excited, like, oh my God, I would love to talk to you more about Rick. Let me tell you, when I find the guys that want to talk about like fishing and old cars, piece of cake. Sometimes I have to talk about things I don't know a lot about. And when I don't, so sometimes when I deal with females and it's a subject I know nothing about, I make it as an opportunity to let them teach it to me. People love talking about their hobbies. Think about the things that brings you the most joy in life. And if someone like comes to me, I go, well, tell me more about this crocheting. I'm just going to listen. I'm going to be a sponge. Doesn't mean I learned something about it, but people love to talk. So we want to get to that closing line. This is one of the biggest problems people get hung up on. So we go to the low ball. I call it the go for no. We call it the low ball. Why do we do this? I do this to protect you as a wholesaler. Why? Because the number one problem I see with wholesalers today, most of y'all pay too much for the property. Why? Because you want to get a yes. And what happens when you want to get a yes? You're going to get one. All yeses are not good in wholesaling. And I'm going to show you why. Because you're so nervous and you're so scared, you just want to get a yes. And if you do that, you're operating as a realtor. You're not operating as a wholesaler. And you're so scared of getting a no. But remember, the best cure in wholesaling is to get the property for the lowest possible price. How do I do that? Go for no. Stop going for yes. Let me show you how to do this. Now, here's the psychology around it. Most of you have an MAO, maximum allowable offer. So say a property is worth 200 and you go, I'm going to offer 170. So you offer me 170. I go, oh, no. I need 220. I'm like, what, 220? I thought you said the house worth 200. What happens is you have your bottom line number and you have your MAO. I call this your LAO, your least allowable offer. If you make an offer close to this, guess what you do to your seller? You naturally intrinsically force them to go up on price because they go, oh, he's going to pay me more. Stop trying to guess what your seller is going to pay for the property and ask them. How do I ask them? You have to go for no. So if the property's worth 200, it's real simple. Hey, Mr. Seller, what do you need to get for this property? And then they go like this. I don't know. And that's what a lot of responses are. And at that point, you can decide you need to use a method to move forward because most of you are like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. Where's Rick and Zach? Here we go. Good cop, bad cop method, doing the go for no. Ready for this? Mr. Seller, I can appreciate you don't know, but I tell you what, I'm here to help you. I want to make this work out for you. I understand there's everything going on, but I tell you what, I do have a partner on this and I've already reviewed the numbers. I actually called him outside before coming here and he says, I can offer 110,000. Shut up. You've built maximum rapport to this point. This is where it's a little freaky. It's wildly uncomfortable, but this is what's done is needed to be done to get a great deal. Now, they're usually going to react to you. If they say yes, great, sign the contract. Very rare. Most likely they're going to react to you. Their reaction is what we call a counter in wholesaling. And remember, I got a counter without actually asking him what he needed. No, I tried it first. He didn't answer. I go back. Now, I blame my partner. My partner, Zach, man, he's brutal. He's terrible. But like, he goes, there's no way I can do that. Absolutely, Rick. You're absolutely crazy. I go, hey, easy. I get it. But remember, that's my partner. That's why I'm here talking to you. John, do you have a number that you would let go of this property? And I just go back. And he goes, listen, I talked it over with my wife and we can't take anything less than 146. Okay. So what did I do? I went from 170. I went from 110 to 146. I'm still going to try to get a little bit lower, but I've cut about 3 weeks out of the negotiation using this method. Now, the goal is not to get kicked out of the house, but remember, your goal is to get a counter. Why? Because you all try to go for yes, and you try to get it done in one shot. This is a negotiation. I'm looking for your subconscious response. So when I do something like that, you usually get a reaction. Use it to your advantage. This is all about learning how to talk to people and how to guide them. I'm just looking for a response. That response is probably the best data you're ever going to get from a seller. But a lot of you try to do that without building rapport. It doesn't work. You just get kicked out, and for good reason. Now, the next method is called the Volley method. One of my favorites. Zach likes the good cop, bad cop. I like the Volley method. The Volley method is extremely powerful when they won't answer you. So, Mr. Seller, what do you need to get for this property to let it go? I don't know. You're here. You're the expert. You tell me. This is my favorite. Now, I learned this from a non-real estate expert, an incredible man. I'll share it on later. And he says, and so this is all about playing with the English language. And you can do this in any language. I just don't know how to translate the other ones. It says, Mr. Seller, I get it. You don't know what you need to, exactly what to get for the house. But if you had to guess, what do you think that number would be? Shut up. So think of it as a volleyball match. You serve, you keep hitting over till the ball hits the ground. Your job is every time they counter back to you, you don't let that ball hit the ground. And the key to this is you respond quickly. You don't do ums, you don't do buts, you respond. Why? You exude confidence and you actually eventually get a truthful answer out of them. So I ask them just like that, you know, what's the lowest you need to get? Well, Rick, you know what? I've thought about this for a while. Honestly, I'm just getting clueless at this point. Can you just make me an offer? I said, John, listen, I get it. You don't know exactly what it's going to be. And I know this can be a little bit confusing, but John, listen, if I had to put you in a corner and say, you and your wife, what do you need to get for this property to move on? Tell me, where will you be at? What would the number be? And now what am I doing? I'm actually frustrating the seller. I'm putting them in a corner. Why? I don't want to stay in the maybe lane. How do I avoid that? If you can overcome 2 objections of the average human being, you can get what you want from them. Now, I might not get exactly what I want, but he's like, okay, Rick, you pressed me. We need 160. That's the bottom line number. See, I got his subconscious response just by volleying. See, if you volley, it works really well. The key with a volley, you can't let the ball hit the ground. You got to serve it back. And the key is just repeating some of the words and say, listen, I'm going to give you and give me an answer. And it's that simple. If you practice this, it's powerful. Now, for those of you who think you're going to use on your spouse and your kids, it works about 3 times and then they figure it out. Remember, you only deal with a seller on average once or twice. They don't figure out what you're doing. But honestly, you don't have to memorize this crazy strip. You just practice the volley method, the good cop, bad cop. It works phenomenally, guys. You got to keep that in mind. So let's talk about the seller first method. And then this is just basically on I'm sorry, I skipped this. On the seller first method, you really just talk about the seller. You talk about everything they want to do and you let them try to do as much talking. Once again, this isn't my favorite way to do it. I love the volley method. Zach loves, he loves the good cop, bad cop, but putting your seller first method and just trying to get them to get the initial response. If you follow through and their compliance, it works really well. Now, when we get down to the contract and you agree on price, I want you to understand this. You have a verbal agreement. You're good. Don't have any paperwork, no briefcase, no nothing. And then once you have a verbal agreement, Mr. Seller, do you mind if I go out in my car? I'm going to go ahead and get some paperwork so I can sit there and write this out with you. The key is I want to write this out with you. I've had on numerous occasions when I pre-fill the contract out, it makes them nervous. Also, if you hold contracts and paperwork next to you, sellers will start to look at it because they want to know when you're going to reach for it. It scares them. It makes them nervous. They don't know what's in there. Take it out. Get rid of your cell phones. Get rid of any gadgets in your hand and just look them just like I'm looking you in the eye right now and talk to them. You have to make eye contact. Some of you guys are horrible with eye contact. You have to make eye contact. So at this point, you're going to take a lot of pictures. You're going to explain the entire process going forward. And you and your partner are going to swing by the house. No change of the agreement. And just we're going to review renovations and we're going to try to figure out what we're going to do with the property. And once more on the day of the closing on the walkthrough. So you're always like, well, how am I going to bring my cash buyer in? You've got to find out what your seller is going to tolerate. Some sellers, they won't tolerate maybe 1 or 2 people walking through. And some of the houses are vacant. You can let a parade go through there. You have to know in advance where you're going to be with that. So guys, I don't want to lose anybody. The really cool part is this is all recorded for you. If you came and met me and spent 3 days with me, this is the conversation I give. I'm not holding back. Me and Zach are giving you guys everything you need, everything you've asked for. And I promise you I'm going to answer questions here shortly. And we will do that part. So let's jump back on here. So let's talk about virtual wholesaling real quick. No appointment, still conditioning. You still have to condition the seller. You get picks after the contract's signed. How do you do that? You get some boots on the ground or get someone to help you out with that. And what we do is write up the agreement first to buy. So important because you guys, if you're 1,000 miles away, you can't go look at the house before you write the contract. We always write the contract first. Why? We want to see that the seller has intent. And once we put boots and stuff on the ground, we got to make sure we have some sort of deal or we have a high probability for it because we got to spend a little bit of money when we do that. And then mostly the biggest challenge on virtual is confirming the condition of the property. So many times we look at a property, she says it just needs a little bit of paint and stuff. We factor in like $3,000 and winds up being $50,000 because it's major damage. And that is the pitfall of virtual when they lie to you because you can't physically see it. So we have to carefully use our ears and listen to everyone that does that. So a virtual, one of the biggest keys I can tell you guys is stay on the phone till they sign. Now you're going to do some sort of electronic signature. You go to freewholesaling.com. We show you services used. These aren't complicated. They're relatively inexpensive. Don't be scared to mail a contract to them. You can overnight it with the USPS and put in a return envelope and it will track when they mail it back. It's about $25. It's not the end of the world. A lot of older people like to do it that way. Or you can send a mobile notary. Remember, most of the contracts don't have to be notarized to get signed, but it's an efficient way to have someone out there sign it. Now, remember, the notary's job is just to verify the authenticity of the person signing the contract. It is not their job to explain it. So sometimes what I'll do is have a speakerphone or even like a FaceTime, and I'll work with the seller, and the notary's job is just to get the signature. Sometimes it's very effective. That costs you about $50 to $75 to do that, but sometimes it is well worth it. Let's look at any questions here, because I know I was busy talking the whole time there. So here's a good one. Yvonne puts on here, I'm stuck here. Locked in a price too high, need to renegotiate the contract. This is awesome information. So I'm going to give you a quick tip. So when you do this, I want you to understand this. Unfortunately, this is a common error in most wholesalers. I start out doing this, and most of you will do the same thing. Hopefully you use the go for no method, and you can prevent this. It'll save you a lot of time. Now, you got to renegotiate. You have two strategies. If you're way off on your price, I mean like $50,000 apart, you really screwed up. What I want you to do is call the seller and say, listen, where do I send over the cancellation of contract? And shut your mouth. Why? Once again, we're using the go for no method. We're looking for a reaction, a response from the seller. If they go, yeah, go ahead and send it over, we'll go with that. And they go, oh, wait a minute. Why? I need this thing closed. That is the perfect bridge for you to renegotiate any contract. End of story. Now, if it's close, 5 to 10 grand, I'm going to call up. I go, listen, Sally, I looked at the property with my contractor and we missed a few things. Do you mind if I go over them? Because I have to account for this stuff because you didn't tell me about it and I missed it. Listen, the good news, I still want to buy the property. We just need to make a slight adjustment. Are you open to that? Bam. That's it. Yvonne, use those exact lines and you'll learn them. Guys, go back and watch this video. I'm saving you 21 years of like dealing with every human situation possible. And I have failed on a lot of them, but over time and experience, you learn what to say to people. And that's why I have my mission to teach as many people as possible about wholesaling. But I applaud you for making the effort. It's okay if you overpay. Just let's fix it. And here's what you want to do as a wholesaler. You just don't want to keep repeating the exact same problem over and over, because that's where you're really going to have challenges when you do it. And I want you to understand. So back to it. I missed it on the first method. So sometimes I get brain fog on it. When we talk about the first seller method, this is it. So a lot of times, sometimes you guys have multiple people chasing down a seller. Please let me know in the comments if you ever run across any competition on your wholesale deals. I want you to understand, don't fret it. Remember, you have to be extremely different than everyone else. Me and Zach are teaching you the skill sets on how to set yourself apart from any other wholesaler or realtor out there. Now, when we talk about doing the first method, if you guys ever watched Ricky Bobby on Talladega Nights, he told his son for the longest time, either you're first or you're last. Okay. Does that make sense to anyone? Either you're first or you're last. And at the end of the movie, he says, son, I don't even know what I was talking about. You there's first, there's second, there's third. No. Me and Zach subscribe to the first and last. So if I have competition, they go, listen, I got 3 wholesalers coming by and a realtor. I say, Miss Seller, what time's the first appointment coming by? 10 a.m. I go, I tell you what, can I at least meet with you first? So I'm going to go meet with them first. Whoever meets with them first makes the best impression. It's about making an impression. I'm going to find out when their last appointment is. How do you do it? You just ask. My last appointment's at 2:00. That's fine. I'm going to wait around the block. And at like 2:15, I'm going to wait there, wait till that person comes out. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk to them. And then they're going to give me all the information, all the other offers. And at the end of the day, remember, I never pay the most. I tell all my sellers that. But I'm going to care the most, and I'm going to make sure this gets done for you. And you know what? If I meet with them first and I meet with them last, you have a huge advantage. And never talk negative about your competition. It's not going to get you anywhere. And you just try to, so the seller always has a million questions when they get multiple offers. So if you're last, that is the best place to do it. But if you do the first and last, you can Ricky Bobby it and make it work. You can be first, you can be last. Like his dad, you can be second, you can be third. I'm telling you, guys, it works phenomenally. And it's so good. So what we want to do is move forward. And I'm going to bring in some experts here to help you with the next segment of ours to move us on in our wholesaling process. If you have any questions, pop it now before we swap out here. And I want to, let's see here. I missed one here. We're okay. We're going to save that for the comping section. Let's see here. So if you have any questions on acquisitions, you can throw it out now. And I'm going to bring my partner in here, and we are going to keep on going here. So let me see here. There's lots of questions in there. So we basically, at this point, we've gone through the entire acquisitions process, and we need to help. I'm trying to look here.
All right, I'll look. Okay. What do you tell the seller and buyer each contacting the time frame between the purchase and sale and the time of the closing?
So what do you tell the seller and buyer each kind? So they're two separate conversations. We're going to talk about the dispo side here shortly, but the most important thing is always going to be to your seller. A lot of you guys sign contracts and then you all complain about sellers ghosting you. You can't ghost your seller. You have to be available to them. You have to talk to them. What I like to do is just reaffirm them. And here's what I tell them. I tell you what, great. We have an agreement. We're going to go ahead. I have all the paperwork. I'm going to give it to my title company, ABC Title. And Judy at the title company is going to reach out to you. And she's just going to confirm some things for you, you know, that you're selling the property. And then they got to get some information to pay off your mortgage company. And that I find reaffirms your sale. It also lets them know you're legitimate and you're most at risk in your first 24 to 48 hours when you sign a contract. Because what happens, if you don't talk to them in 2 to 3 days, they start to get sometimes like remorse. And if there's not someone there to answer your question, you have a problem. If you have the title company reach out to your seller, they go, okay, Rick's legit. Oh my God. And they actually brag about you. Oh, Rick's a great guy. He helps out a lot of people. I'm so glad you got in contact with him. I got to get some information for you. And then when we do that, I'm going to call you back in 24 or 48 hours. And they quarterback. But that doesn't take the liability off of you. I'm touching base with them every 2 or 3 days until I get to the closing. Because if you leave them alone for 7 to 10 days, because you're secretly trying to find a cash buyer, you're going to freak them out. You got to keep them engaged and you got to keep your seller happy.
Okay. And to answer your question here, also what you tell the seller, when you sign the contract, you basically let the person know, hey, what we're going to do is I'm going to send this over to the title company. I'm just letting you know my partner's going to want to come by and actually see it. So I have to schedule time for me and my partner to come by and see it. It's not an inspection, anything like that.
Yeah. We
might need to go back even 2 or 3 more times, just FYI, maybe get quotes for flooring, some repair stuff. Is that okay with you? Okay, perfect. Then you go from there because you're kind of setting the stage for the cash buyer to walk through the property also, just FYI. And so let's answer, we'll answer some questions after too, but we got to really share with you more information here because obviously this isn't a Q&A thing today. So let's kind of break this down and get more into the cash buyer side. So let's talk about cash buyers dispositions, guys. Cash buyers dispositions, this is basically the process of selling your wholesaling deal when we get it locked under contract. Now, what I have personally found with cash buyers, so there is a tier list I've found with most cash buyers. And this tier list is interesting, but it's one that's completely true. Cash buyers can be pretty much categorized in 5 levels. I call the ones that buy the most houses, they're what we call slumlords, more or less. They own a lot of properties and they rent them out like it's insane. And a lot of them just buy and rent them out. Institutional buyers, stuff like that, they usually pay the least per deal. Now, you get to the next level, which is kind of like the high-end flipper, someone flipping over 20 houses a year. They're pretty good. You know, they'll pay less than the medium level flipper, but they'll pay more than the slumlord. And then you have the medium level flipper doing maybe 1 flip a month. And then you got mom and pop flipper who's going to do 1 to 4 a year. They'll pay way more than the medium and high level flipper just because there's a lot less savvy and they will be able to stomach less of an ROI. And then my favorite are the fresh out of the seminar flippers. Those are kind of my favorite. They just went to a house flipping seminar and now they're willing, I can make 5% in a month. Whoa, right? And they're nuts. Those are one of my favorites too. And I always get asked, you know, always about how do I find the fresh out of the seminar flippers and all that. And we're going to break it down. But Facebook groups are going to be one of the best ways to find them too. But what we found with cash buyer tiers, there's basically 5 tiers of this from paying the least to the most. And they're all pretty easy to find, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're, Listen, guys, this is true, that this hierarchy. My favorite person is someone fresh out of a seminar, or someone that just wants to fix a house up for their family and the dad's handy, because he can pay more, because
Yeah.
he's underestimating what the cost is. Remember, everyone makes a choice when they buy a house. I don't know much about the house, and if they need like heavy rehab, like honestly, the less houses they buy, the rule of thumb is the more they'll pay you. Why? Because some of them are going to live in the house and do that, and they don't have to figure it out for 10 years. And I'm fine with that. It's not our job to tell you what to do with the house. Our job is to find motivated sellers and put them under contract and present them to cash buyers.
Exactly. And so those are the tiers. Now, the question is, how do I actually go out here and find cash buyers, right? And so a lot of these are going to be cost money, and a lot of them are free. Now, these are all of them, right? You can go to Craigslist. Find them. They're not my favorite way, but that is a way. You can go to Facebook groups and basically find them. I'm going to show you kind of in the next slide my script for finding Facebook group cash buyers. We can go to Facebook Marketplace and find people looking to sell properties that they have or rent out properties. We can cold call cash sales, basically using a service like listrei.com, zachdata.com, dmzac.com of just cash sales, and actually calling these people up, seeing if they want to sell the property. We're actually going to do that today. That's going to be pretty exciting. We can go to local real estate investing associations. Not my favorite, but it's a way. And one that's really working lately really well is going to be realtors. Realtors, they have a lot of buyers, and they're okay. If you know the script to tell your realtor that hey, do you work with wholesalers? If I have a deal and you'll get paid on it, they work really well. Again, you can do cash sales and like text them if you want. Listrei.com is one of my favorite ways to do it. Hedge funds is another good one too. Now, some markets don't work well with the hedge funds, some do. You can either JV with other wholesalers or JV with us. Sellmypaper.com, right? So if you guys need help selling your wholesaling deal on the dispo end, I practice what I preach. I'm pretty good at getting deals sold. Sellmypaper.com, do it around the country. So just wink, wink. But also what you can do here is you can kind of run Facebook ads, Instagram ads. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but that is an option. And then one of my other favorite ones is just going after new real estate agents, like brand new green ones, usually like really young ones too. That works really well. But realtors they're very underrated source of cash buyers.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, a lot of you go, wow, realtor is going to cost me money. No, I'm just telling you, I thought that too. You go, they're going to cost me between 3 and 6%. They actually make you on average 15% more. So you're going to get a 10% bump by using the realtor. And what I love about the realtor is I don't get the drama. The realtor just wants their commission check. And a lot of these properties, when the realtors represent the cash buyer, they look at it, meaning the buyer's technically buying it sight unseen on the realtor's word, and your hands are completely clean. You get a little drama from the realtor, but like it's very minimal. And honestly, I would pay. It's worth the fee because you don't have to go through all. Realtors do not, the ones that represent cash buyers, they do not waste time. They're extremely efficient. And what happens though, they go, hey, listen, if you find anything else like this, give me a call. And when you go, the second one goes even faster. On average, when I use a realtor, my deal sold between 10 and 14 days. I've had it done as little as 7 because we don't have to go through the usual hurdles we have to do on a typical cash buyer.
Exactly. And so that's how you find the cash buyers. Now, what are kind of our cash buyer list building rules? I would say you're going to want quality over quantity. And say this a million times, 5 amazing, highly qualified cash buyers is always going to beat 3,000 bad ones, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's quality over quantity. When you guys say, oh, I got 5,000 cash buyers nationally, I don't believe you. Nobody else believes you. And you can take that guru canned pitch and get rid of it because it's not real. The reality of you having 5,000 legitimate cash buyers, it takes an extraordinary amount of effort. The reality is you have to vet these cash buyers. And if you had just 5 high quality cash buyers that gave you a proof of funds that's ready to go, you were better off than the guy who has 500. Because if I have 500, guess what? 498 of them are other wholesalers. Period. You're wasting your time. And that's how you get in trouble in this business. When other people try selling your deals and everyone's trying to ride off of you, you need cash buyers. I have nothing against doing JV deals with wholesalers, but we need to be transparent about it when we do it. When someone disguises themselves as a cash buyer and they're a wholesaler just trying to daisy chain you, you better know that up front. If you do our system, you will snuff every one of them out. And you go, Rick, I called 10 cash buyers and 9 of them, they don't want to prove anything to me. That means you talk to one cash buyer.
Yep.
End of story.
I see it all the time. So just be very, very careful with your list bowling. It's always about quality of buyers over quantity. Okay, don't be the guy, I got 5 million buyers. No. Trust me. No. Okay. Now, some big hack I'll tell everyone is I love the cash buyer Facebook hack. Most people, I'm telling you, you got to be doing it. All right.
Okay.
So make sure you go do that. So the free cash buyer hack, I'm telling you, this is it. So what's my free cash buyer hack? Basically, this is my hack to find cash buyers on Facebook. Okay. So when you go to Facebook, you can go and do it and find a bunch of ones on here. So let's go here. All right, so let's go here just to get the right slide here. All right, and so this is it. So screenshot this if you want. Let me know if this is what you want to do. But basically, this is it. This is my big script right here that I post in Facebook groups. And these are real estate investing groups. These are realtor groups, wherever it is. But copy and paste it if you want. But this one works really, really stinking well. Houses at a deep discount. If you are in the Port St. Lucie market, say Houston, Dallas, whatever market you're in. If you're looking to buy off-market properties for 30 to 40% off market value and make big profits on the next rental or flip, then private message, DM me, message me, right? And then ... drop your email or message, and I'll send you some of these deals. Guys, I'm telling you, this works really well. Don't do this in a wholesaling Facebook group because you're going to get other wholesalers looking to steal your deal. But cash buyer groups, realtor groups, real estate in general groups, just kind of fishing out here, you will find a lot of great wholesaling deals doing this. But it's a quantity game. You should be posting this every day, every other day, and just building a list up like that. It'll work really, really stinking well. I highly recommend you guys start doing that because it's one of the best ways to find cash buyers on Facebook. Now, cash sales, like I've said before, you can go to the section of all the people that bought a house for cash, which are in essence cash buyers. And you go in the zip code that you have the property under contract, pull the list, skip trace it, text, call them. Hey, I saw you. This is my script basically for them. Hey, I saw you purchase 123 Main Street all cash. Are you looking to buy any more houses at a deep discount? Pretty simple, right? I mean, just, yeah, I did buy that house. And no, I'm not looking to buy any more houses. Or, yeah, I actually might be. Well, my name is Zach. I'm a wholesaler. Are you possibly interested in me sending you some wholesaling deals? You go from there. I mean, they should understand what an assignment is if they're savvy enough, and you should be good from there. Realtors are good too. There's some websites like realestateagentlist.com. I'm not the highest recommend, but it is one. You can pull all realtors in the area, get their emails, phone numbers, and cold call them. I do like actually going back to cash sales and then going to the buyer's agent of the cash sales and calling them. So you can just use like listerari.com, dmzach.com, zachdata.com for this too. Ask if the realtor has any cash buyers, explain who you are, and then basically see if those realtors actually want to go out here and send you some of their deals. And it works pretty well. I mean, sorry, send some of your buyers. And what I mean by this is go to like listerari.com, dmzach.com, zachdata.com, go to cash sales, look at the buyer's agent, call the buyer's agent on like PropStream. It's actually like free. You can go there and say, hey, are you the buyer's agent for 123 Main Avenue? Yes, I am. Well, I'm actually calling to see if you have any other buyers looking to buy any more houses for cash. I'm a wholesaler, and I get properties under contract all the time, and I'd love to get you paid for bringing a buyer for my deal. See what they have to say. Most of the time, if they're good, they'll say, oh, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'd love to do that, right? Sometimes they say no, and they actually don't. So you just got to be very careful here and just understanding that. But they work really stinking well. And so if you have some money, and I'll tell people like this, oh wait, this is the wrong one. How did that slide get in there? That was the wrong slide. Sorry about that. So title companies. So that's how you find cash buyers. Let's kind of talk about title companies. There's about 4 main questions to ask a title company when you're looking to vet them, right? And let's kind of break this down right here.
And you guys can't skip this process.
No.
Because if you get a contract and you get it and you go, oh my God, I didn't do the title company thing, and you hand it to a title company, honestly, they can break you real quick. So we want to teach you the process of how to find a title company and, more importantly, how to vet them. Because remember, most title companies are geared towards realtors. Why? Because realtors, unfortunately, they drive 95% of the market. So they're mostly geared towards. So you got to find a title company that will basically cater to your business. How do you find them? The easiest way is to go online and just search other investors, look in Facebook groups and stuff like that. And if Zach's using a title company, it's working out for him and he's doing lots of deals, odds are it probably will with you. And I want to find a title company that's small, mom and pop, because I want to have someone's cell phone number. And if I got to call them on Saturday night at 10 o'clock to fix a deal, I need someone to answer that phone. I don't want to hear about your business hours. So a lot of these are small business owners. They do appreciate your business. When you get the big chain ones, you're going to be processed just like you're a realtor, and you don't want to do that. So here's the questions I'm going to go through when I get my list. So hopefully you found ones that deal with wholesalers. Now, I don't even use the word wholesale that much. I just simply ask, hey, do you work with assignment contracts? You can say wholesalers. It's not the end of the world with them. And once again, I'm looking for the response to it. And if they go like this, what's that? You're in trouble. You're in the wrong place. Get out, pull the exit side, like pull the ripcord, get out of there. It's going to be a problem. Some title companies don't like dealing with us. They think we're risky. They think we're crazy. It's just their opinion. It's not law. It's not anything like that. Just move on. The next time I ask, how many wholesaling deals have you done in the past year? I'm asking as a company. Some of them don't have to share that information. They're like, listen, I do it all the time. I can rattle you off like 6 investors I dealt with this week. These are the type of companies I want to deal with it. Next one, really important. Remember, we deal with problematic properties. So I want to find the hardest problem right up front, which is, hey, do you handle probates? Once again, guys, the reaction is the most important part. Like, oh yeah, we do it all the time. We're extremely comfortable, and we can even show you a couple tips. That's what I'm looking for. And they go, probates? Well, you have to wait till that probate's done before we'll even process the title. Once again, listen to the response. You're not selling anyone. You're literally just going through a checklist. And then basically, who's my contact person? I need someone I can touch 7 days a week, not 24/7, but anytime that sun's up. And then I like to have someone's cell number. I don't want an office number. I would use the office number during business hours, but I want a cell number in case there's a problem. A lot of times we have contracts over the weekend and we need to get questions answered. Now, if you're doing business with them, they don't mind doing it. If you're just sucking information and not doing it, it's going to be problematic. Guys, these simple questions you ask your title company will make or break you as a wholesaler. Now, the problem is if you say you get excited, you get a contract and you skip this and you just hand it to your local title company, it's going to be a problem. I'm just telling you, like anytime I've used anyone outside of my own title company, it's tough. Remember, they're on your side. I know the title company is supposed to be neutral. Their job is to facilitate the closing for the seller and the buyer. And they say in a neutral position, it's not the truth. Whoever brings them the deal is who their loyalty is. Now, the other reason the title company is you build a great rapport with them is if your buyer's getting wanky or they're like trying to get out of your deal and they keep calling and asking your girl dumb questions, she should pick up the phone and go, hey, Rick, you know that buyer you have on 123 U Street? I think he's trying to get out of the contract. He's trying all sorts of games and stuff like that. And once you have that relationship with your title company, like when it comes to your assignment fee that's going to be placed on the HUD, 9 times out of 10, if you've conditioned your seller right, and they're all they want is their money at this point. Rick, I just need my $100,000. Now, if the title company goes, look, Rick's making $35,000 off, are you okay with it? That's what you're going to get if you go to a foreign title company every time. So I want you to understand that you have to ask these questions. If you don't ask these questions, you're going to find out the answer at the most ill-opportune time when you got your first deal. Guys, there's nothing like that first deal and you got it on. If the title company destroys it at the end, to me, it's the most painful process. It's like going fishing and trying to flop that fish in your boat and the line snaps right there. And I told you to use a net, Zach. Your title company is your big net. Either they're basically part of your team. And I'm telling you, they have to be one of your best team members. And how do you do it? Go find one that wants to do business with you and vet them and ask these questions. They're simple questions, guys. Anybody can do this. listen to the response, and find the ones that want to work with you. And guys, they will be one of your greatest assets. In fact, when you're starting out in wholesaling, this is basically kind of your partner, your employee. And I love when they call me on a Saturday, Sunday, go, hey, Rick, I'm getting that file ready for Monday. You make sure you talk to your seller. And remember, their job is if I tell them, hey, here's a contract, Sue, can you call Jane Smith and let her know we're all good, introduce the title company? It's huge, especially on that first. So if I meet him at noon and she calls him by 2 or 3 o'clock, seller goes, oh my God, there's something that happens when the title company calls the seller. They go, oh God, they're legit. Remember, a lot of you guys, you don't think you're legit and you're a little shaky on the confidence. Your title company has to brag about you. Oh God, Rick's the great. And listen, maybe you've never even done a deal, but like honestly, if they say, listen, Rick's a super nice guy and all he wants to do is help you out. I'm so glad you guys connected. That's all they want to hear. But you got to be nice. You got to find people that want to work with you. I love title companies because they're the ones that help you kind of land that plane on that runway. And like, it's right before your wheels touch. But if you don't do all this work ahead of time, that tire could blow out and that plane's going to flop over and you're going to be in the fuselage. And I don't want you to burn up. So don't skip this step. And if you haven't do it, take the effort today and go ahead and move forward with it.
Yeah, you need to. Title companies are important. And next question I usually get from people is like, how do I find a good title company, right? It's a lot of ways to go find title companies. I would say the best way is just to not reinvent the wheel here. You know, where other wholesalers are finding title companies and they're good, you're good to go. Like, let's talk about like, I don't know, Lincoln, Nebraska, right? Or Omaha, Nebraska. There's going to be 2 probably good wholesaling title companies there.
Yeah.
Like only 2. And if there's thousands of wholesalers there, they're all going to use the same couple title companies. Don't be afraid that other wholesalers use that title company. It's fine. And actually, it's better because they're more used to that.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing you got to be careful, and this isn't law, obviously, but some title companies do it because they feel like it's the right thing to do. They will tell the seller, and we've had this happen before. Hey, Mr. Seller, this is Sally from Jan Title, and I'm just letting you know that Zach is not buying your house. He's making a $25,000 assignment fee on this deal, and he's actually not the buyer. It's this other guy. I need to let you know this right now.
Guys,
what's going on? Do you want out? It happens more than you think if you have the wrong title company.
No, guys, your title company. It's key, and that's why we want to stick to the smaller mom and pops because they care a little bit more. If you get in some of these big national titles and you go, oh, I'm going to do deals all over the country, dude, there's very few companies that can do that. Honestly, you're not equipped to set up for that. So each title company should be for a specific state. And a lot of times I like to have the title company in the specific, like a county or maybe like a tri-county area, because the reality is most of you either going to have a seller come in and do the closing, or if you're doing it virtually, you can send out a mobile notary and stuff like that, or you send them into a local title company. I will tell you in the beginning, if you can send them to a local title company and you've never done a deal before, and they're like you want to exude confidence, that title company is like a huge crutch for us because they're like, they're licensed, they're insured. There's a lot of process they got to go to sell title insurance. And by them going and then using a third party to authenticate, hey, Rick's for real, it helps you out a lot, especially those of you swinging the bat to get your first deals.
I agree. And so you just got to be careful with that too. So yeah, what I like to do is go in Facebook groups and just look up in a big wholesaling group, like Nebraska Space Title Company, and it'll pop up and be, oh, I use this title, and this, you just call them up. You also cold call all the title companies and ask your questions. But if wholesalers are using that title company, there's a reason because it works really well. From there too, the one other rule I would say is, this isn't like a rule, but I do ask all my title companies this. This is the 5th hidden rule. But ask them if they do double closings. And more specifically, double closing in escrow, which basically means that when you're doing double closing, you can use the buyer's funds to kind of be your transactional funding. That's pretty cool too. It's not a must for a title company. Last but not least is we went over contracts yesterday, right? But what I want you to do is send that contract to the title company and just get it approved from them. The worst thing you can do is get a property under contract and the title company says, we can't accept this. Scary stuff. So you want to make sure that they approve it right. There's always lawyers at the title company that's going to look it over for you. Don't worry about it. You should be fine. But title companies are very powerful. One other last tip before we get to the next part here is with a title company, if I have a seller who, if you're young, like I was starting out 17, 18 years old, it's like,
You're still
pretty
young.
I'm 24. I'm old enough. But I was saying when I was like 18, 19, some of these sellers were like, "Ooh, I don't know." I'm like, "Okay, well, if you need some help knowing what I'm doing, because we're literally 19, what we can do is, why don't you go meet me at the title company, and you can talk to the lawyer there, Jeff. He's a lawyer, and he can go over this with you if you don't understand or trust us." Really? You'll pay your lawyer to go meet with me? Yeah, we'll have my lawyer come and meet you. And he thinks I'm paying a lawyer to go over, and the lawyer talk about, yeah, Zach's legit. He's 19 years old, but he's legit, and he's done plenty of closings with us.
Yeah.
And it's a lawyer saying that, and it's true. I did a lot of closings at 18, 19, 17 years old, and it gave me instant credibility like that. So it's just another thing you can do too, but it works really, really well. Also, on top of that, I'm like, if you have any questions, like, ask the title company. They're the third.
Oh God, they are your pseudo lawyer. 90% of your questions can be answered by a title company. Why? Because they do so many transactions. They've seen almost every case scenario. They already know the answer, and they know when it needs to be referred to a lawyer. And quite frankly, a lot of lawyers, a lot of title companies are owned by lawyers or associated with them. So this is a great place, guys. Your title company is everything. And trust me, these are just the beginning steps of like working with your title company. There's a lot of things that can really help you grow your wholesaling business.
Exactly. So here it is, the title company vetting process. Just take a screenshot of this and everything, and we'll go from there. Perfect. All right. So next part, we got to talk about ARV. We got to talk about comps. You got to figure out, hey, what is a wholesaling deal? That is it. Do I have a good wholesaling deal? Do I not have a good wholesaling deal? How do we figure that out? We got to talk about ARV and comps. So ARV, let's kind of break down the numbers. I don't care what your guru said, whatever he said or she said. They're all she's in my head. But whatever they say, they don't know what they're talking about. So let's really break down ARV in its truest sense. ARV, after repair value. That's what it's called, after repair value, right? So ARV, let's break this down. We got repairs, and we have AR, and then V, and then ARV. So let's just kind of, I know it sounds confusing, but really think about this for a second. ARV. Let's separate the AR out of the V. AR stands for after repairs. And basically what AR is, it is the repair costs needed for the property. And what is the V in ARV? Value.
Yep.
And so value is actually another word for MAO, max allowable offer. And so if we're trying to understand this, V, value, is actually what the property is worth right now. It's actually what the value of the property is. It's value.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we put AR before V, that is repair costs needed. So if we look at ARV, really breaking things down is MAO plus repair cost. There's no other wholesaler that looks at wholesaling like this, but this is actually the truth. And let me know if I'm wrong, but ARV, it is MAO plus repair costs.
Yeah.
That is what ARV is. And now, that being said, ARV is basically what the MAO is plus repair cost. And so if I'm a cash buyer, MAO is my break-even point, right? I got to put my repair cost in. So if I can buy it for 100 and it's worth 100, and I got to put 50 grand into it, I'm going to break even and make $0. I'll probably lose money if I'm a flipper. So that being said, I don't buy houses at MAO plus repair cost. That's stupid. Because if it's worth 100 and I put 50 grand into it, now it's worth 150. I don't make no profit.
Nope.
And so your cash buyer wants to do is make money. He wants to make money, right? And so he wants to buy the deal for a discount. Oh my gosh, he's trying to make money?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Duh. Okay. He's trying to make money. And so that being said, your cash buyer wants discounts on properties. Now, wholesaling real estate, we buy properties at a discount and then we sell it for a discount too. On top of that, we want our cash buyers to get filthy rich. I'm the only wholesaler that's going to tell you that, because once they make money, they come back to you. And I'm in the business of making a ton of money in wholesaling and getting a bunch of buyers to buy my deal. So let's kind of go this from the top. I don't care what your guru says. Oh, my guru told me it's ARV multiplied by 65% to the fourth quadrant, to the fifth parallel, minus my wholesale fee, minus repair cost, but I got to divide repair cost by 2 and multiply by 3, then divide by 4. And then I have this little chart here in my abacus, and you guys make it way
it's
too
not
confusing.
real world.
It's let me say one thing really quick, and you have to get this through your head. your cash buyer is going to calculate their own ARV, their own repair costs, and their own MAO. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter.
They don't care.
They don't care. I have cash buyers try to look at this cup. This is why it's worth this. Well, I'm a buyer.
Yeah.
I am the market. I am the what is it?
Yeah.
What is a property worth? What is the value of something? What someone else is willing to pay for it, right?
Correct.
And so there's two things with that though. Because a market, the value of something, I'm a free market guy, is what someone else is willing to pay for it. There are different buyers for things. And for example, if we have a Miami Dolphins helmet right here, someone like me and you will probably be willing to pay 30, 40 bucks for that, right? Because we love the Dolphins, right? Now, if it is a New England Patriots helmet, I will literally probably give you $1 just so I can throw it away in the trash where it belongs.
That's Jets helmet.
Jets helmet too, and the Bills helmet, honestly. So I'll pay $1 for it and throw it in the trash. Does that mean that a Josh Allen signed helmet is worth $1? To me, it's worth $1 because it's literally trash. To a fan of, but if I go to Buffalo, New York, it's probably worth $500 to $1,000. Just because I'm offering you $1 doesn't mean it's worth $1, right?
Correct.
Because there's other people that would be willing to pay more for it. And so what I mean by this is when you have a wholesaling deal, and let's say you lock it up for 100, there's going to be cash buyers that are going to want to buy it for 120, 130. But there's also going to be buyers that are going to want to buy it for 50, 60, 70. Does that mean the deal is worth 70? No. But here's the thing. If you only talk to one buyer, you only have one average to go off of. So if I have a deal, I lock it up for 100, I talk to one buyer says 70, I'm like, oh, I got a bad deal. When if you just talk to like 7 or 8 of them and they all want to buy between 110, 120, 130, you know, okay, I have a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to also understand this, all right? A lot of wholesalers cannot wake up to reality, all right? If you have a deal for locked up for 100 and you talk to 12 buyers and they all want to buy it for 70, they're not crazy, you're crazy. It is what the average of the market is willing to pay for it. You've got to understand this, all right? And so I don't really care too much about MAO, all these crazy things. I just try to lowball the deal and see what I can get for it. But just understand, you're not going to be this perfect calculating type person. Your cash buyer is going to come up with their own numbers. And so this is a number for yourself internally to know if you should have a decent deal or not. A lot of people try, we got to calculate exactly how cash buyer is going to calculate. Every cash buyer calculates it differently. Some cash buyers go off of cash flow. Some go off of how much they can make on a flip. Some look at if they can get a good 1031 exchange on it. They all do different things. And some of them buy it with loans and then they go out here and they're going to do a burst strategy with it. They all do different things with it. And so we just do it for wholesaling. Okay. I don't care what your guru says. I had one guy who said, I had one guru who actually clowned me on a Facebook post. He said, this guy, someone screenshotted my ARV formula and they said, is this legit? And this guy said, that's not legit at all.
Yeah.
And it was funny. He said, cash buyers buy for 60% of the ARV, even if the house is worth $1 million. I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on. Let me do that. Let me do the math here. Okay. This is what people say. These are what people say, and this is what gurus do. It's actually hilarious. They'll go out here and be like, okay, so if the ARV is 1.5 million, all right, and I got to put $500,000 in repairs, and I got to buy that for 60%. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That means I buy the house for $600,000. I put $500,000 in the house, and so if I buy it for $600,000, I put $500,000 in the house. I'm in it for 1.1, and I sell it for 1.5. That's $350,000 in profit.
Sweet deal.
So is the average flipper making $350,000 in profit?
No. Those are dream scenarios.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah,
that means every flipper, and that means let's say we do another house, right? Let's divide that by 4. Okay, let's divide that by 4. So the average ARV is 375. That means the average flipper is making $85,000 on a flip. That's not reality. Okay, the average flipper when the ARV is 375 is not making $87,000. But your guru is telling you that the average buyer, did they make around $85,000 on each flip? No, that's the average flipper is making 30, 40, 50 grand. It's
taking a tremendous risk.
And so I'm letting you know, don't be doing the 65%. I hate when these gurus say it and they make you feel bad. But I'm telling you, it's because they're stupid. They're stuck in 2004 numbers.
Yeah, you guys are going to be stuck on the sidelines if you stick with those old school numbers. They're never going to work. And remember, percentages change as the values go up, because what's 70% of $100,000? It's 70 grand. Now take $1 million.
I know.
Like, the numbers
Now
don't.
the costs do go up, obviously.
They do, but
But
there's
you-
proportionally different
when
numbers.
you look at flipping houses and what I've seen from buyers and us flipping bigger price deals, you usually are able to get less of a discount on the property. That's why when people flip multi-million-dollar homes, they're not getting 70 cents on the dollar or 50 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
They're tight. They're getting 80 cents on the dollar. But because, you know why? A lot of these multi-million-dollar houses, the most expensive part on this, especially you're talking Beverly Hills, San Francisco, island country, places like Island, Miami, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm flipping a $10 million house in Miami, you got to understand, if it's on Biscayne Bay, $7 million of that deal is just the land.
Exactly.
And so there's no flipping the land, right? And so it's like, I need 50 cents on the dollar, and the land doesn't change. And when you look at like Beverly Hills, when it's on the hilltops, 70% of the value is literally the land. And so like I look at like where I live, like my place is 80% the value is the land.
That's it.
And I live in a really nice spot because it is on the water. Like, duh, I have beachfront house. So I just letting you know, like when you get to these higher ARVs, a lot of that is in the land. And like we talk about like Austin, Texas, San Francisco, if it's a $800,000 house, 60, 70, 80% of that's land. Now, let's kind of go to Fayetteville, Arkansas, right? That's going to be more property versus land, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all dependent. But I hate these gurus telling me that, like, oh, you have to do 50 cents on the dollar. If I get 50 cents on the dollar in San Francisco, you make millions of dollars every deal. So I'm just letting you know, like, stop listening to these gurus. And so we have to find ARV. That's ARV. Now we got to find comps, or what we call comparables. Okay. When I'm looking at comps and looking at comparable properties, we want to go out here and actually find similar ones. And so, for example, if I have a Josh Allen signed football helmet, I think it's worth $1. But how do I figure out how much that thing's worth? I'm going to go on Google and search Josh Allen authentic signed football helmet. I'm going to see what they're selling for on eBay. Okay, they're selling between $300, $400, $500, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shocker, right? Like that's what you do. And you try to sell your 2016 Honda Accord. I'm going to go and look for what 2016 Honda Accords in that similar like mileage range are selling for. Everyone knows that's what you do. But when it comes to houses, people flip out. They freak out. Right?
Yeah.
And it's hilarious to me because some wholesalers, they'll do this. They'll find a Nissan GTR, like a beautiful, like a Ford. Actually, no, this is better. If people have like a Ford Focus they're trying to sell, they look for a Ford GT or a Mustang 5.0 and be like, well, this Ford sold for $100,000. My Ford's worth $100,000. No, that's a Mustang 5.0 V8 engine, and you have a Ford Focus from 2002. Okay, so but you wholesalers will do this. You'll find comps. You'll find the craziest, most high-end comp and compare it to your trashy deal.
Well, here's what people do: is people are very biased in comps.
They are.
You don't believe me? Go deal with a buyer. When you deal with a cash buyer, they're going to cherry pick the lowest comps and try to use that as a leverage. And then wholesalers do the same thing. They cherry pick the highest comps. Guys, at the end of the day, both sides are going to make up their own mind. The worst thing in the world is when wholesalers go, I have this deal. Here's the estimated. Every prepare is 10 to 15 grand, which I just multiply by 4 or 5 on average. And then they give me the comps. The comps are so outdated and they're so far away from the property. They only pick the ones that basically were biased towards them. And then they conveniently forget the ones that were on the lower end. And when you do that, when I do it with my cash buyers and you give them crappy, I was taught how to do this and it blew up on me quickly, is you discredit yourself. Do you want to be a realtor? You want to sit there and comp? He or she's going to make up their mind what they're going to pay for it. You providing the comps, you're actually, if you are not perfect, they're going to hold you accountable for it. Like, dude, where'd you get these numbers from? You guys with your rehab numbers, it's very clear. Like, stop trying to get, it's not your job to establish what the rehab numbers are. You guess to a point, but you don't know exactly because you don't know what So if you say the rehab's 10 to 15 and the guy goes, well, it's going to be 50, he might have to do the 50 to get it to the high end, but he's going to push it to the highest end comp. And we get in this argument. And honestly, a lot of us don't know how to do the repairs. And we're like, and you start getting in confrontations with the guy. That's not it. It's really a yes or no decision. And maybe if he's the only buyer, then you negotiate with him. But stop trying to do comp bias. Both parties are guilty of it. And please don't add fuel to the fire. When you handpick two comps, people are going to pick you apart on it. They're going to find the 5 other comps that don't support it. And then you got to start all over.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I can tell you, so when you look for that Josh Allen helmet, you don't like go for the $5,000 one, right? The helmet that he wore. No, no, that's not a game worn helmet. When you look for a Honda Accord, you're just looking for other Honda Accords. You're not going to go for like a crazy. You're not going to stretch it, right? Because you want to know what it's worth, right? One example I always use is like comic books. They're pretty easy. Like this comic book right here, that's an older one, right? It has the volume, it has the issue. You look that up and it'll tell you exactly what it's worth, right?
Yep.
Pretty simple. You're not going to go find like some other one, right? This is volume 99. You're not going to go to volume 94 and be like, oh, it's the same one. No, it's different. And so houses are slightly different because everyone's different, but there are some rules for it. And so when I'm looking for comparables, right, what we're going to do is use listari.com, dmzac.com, zacdata.com, whatever those websites you want. Zillow's a good one, realtor.com, Redfin if you have no money. What you're going to do is look for similar bed and bathrooms. And what we mean by that, if it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, look for other 2-bedroom, 1-baths. If it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, look for other 3-bedroom, 1-baths. Now, the only caveat on this is I see this happen all the time, and I don't know why, but some communities, I would say, that I found in Florida, a lot of it is like immigrant communities I found here where they have a lot of families, like the entire family lives in the house. And what I've seen is one person will buy a home, like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and they'll have family that immigrate to this country. And then they don't have no money. They're trying to like get their feet up, and then they live there. And then they bring their cousins, and then they have kids. And there's like 12 people in the house. And
yeah, it's common.
What they do is they're like, okay, we'll just go create walls and rooms unpermitted. And they'll have a garage and split it into 3 bedrooms. It's crazy stuff I've seen. And so I've had one. I remember one deal in Fort Pierce, Florida. It was an 8-bedroom, 1-bath. Now
it's a busy bathroom.
So what am I going to do here, right? And it was 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
What should I do? All unpermitted, by the way. So that's not good. And they kind of did their own little drywall thing. And the electrical, I'm surprised I'm still alive going through that house. What should I have done there? Oh, well, it's an 8-bedroom. Let me go look at other 8 bedrooms. Oh, there's an 8-bedroom here for $4.5 million. No. What you do just, okay, well, the bedrooms is not similar. Let's just go off of square feet.
Yeah.
And that's the best comp for that.
Square feet's the best way to do it.
It is, but it isn't, because there's 1,000 square foot 2-1s, and then there's 1,000 square foot 3-1s and 3-2s.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-2s are going to be worth more, obviously. It's the same square footage. And so you have to roughly kind of like do your own. You're smart, okay? Like you watch it, like you're smart enough to understand that. But similar bed and bathroom is good unless people start doing crazy stuff to houses. Now we deal with human beings, and you know for a fact human beings are nuts, and they'll do crazy stuff. And so you just have that under assumption. Now, I don't like to go look at comps that are above 250 square feet or below that. And so what I mean by that is if I have a 2,000 square foot house, I don't want to do anything that's over 2,300 square feet or under 1,700 square feet, just in that range. I like a 10-year built range. What I mean by that is if I have a house built in 1988, I'll do comps from 1978 to 1998. I don't want to go anything crazier than that. That's pushing it too. I like to stick to the same subdivision. Basically, what that is on the property appraiser, there's a subdivision. It's kind of more niched out than a zip code, and it's basically a division inside of the city. That's kind of how property appraisers for the county do it, and that's the way you should be doing it too. And then, some people say this: don't cross any busy roads or intersections. It's true, but like I don't see an insane difference with that. The only comps I'll tell you is if the property has a pool or not a pool. If the property out here is on a busy street, you got to take some money off of the deal.
Or backed up to a highway with the noise.
Backed up to a highway with the noise.
And another thing we get a lot in Florida, or like sometimes you get like these power infrastructures, like next to the house. They have a whole field. It's like
transformers.
And when it rains, it's like zzz. No, listen, not that nobody wants to live by it, but like there's a significant discount for that.
Yep.
Also, there's some houses where the power wires go like almost right over the house, and a lot of people don't like that. Especially I'm talking on the real nicer homes, you will take a hit for it. So a lot of the things we do, like we're talking about here, like you don't think you have to be a contractor and an expert like to figure everything out. A lot of it's common sense. What would you put up with to live in a house, and what would cause you to discount it? And a lot of like we don't know electrical and HVAC, but guys, the obvious would be one. If it has central AC, it's cheaper for the homeowner to run it, and it'll demand more of a premium. If you have window units, guys, if you've never had window units, they're extremely inefficient. They make a lot of noise and they break down, and they power up by like 70% in the house.
Yeah, there's different ones. The last one I can tell you is one thing I discount a house, which sounds stupid, but it's true. I had a property in Port St. Lucie, Florida, where we walked up on a contract. I convinced the guy to give me a $5,000 reduction because let's say, for example, the house next door or like 2 doors down, they had a flag of there was a war in the United States of America in the 1800s. I can't say the word. Where in the southern part of the country they had these flags.
Okay.
And this guy had it blasted everywhere, and it's not good. It's not good for high-end flipping. That's all I can say, right? And it was really bad. Like it's as obnoxious as you can make it. And like I had like 15 trucks parked outside, and they're always working out there. Like you had to get a discount on those type of homes.
Everything winds up with Port St. Lucie when you do that. Yeah. I once checked this out. I once had a neighbor, and I bought the house, and he had monster truck tires, and he dug them in the ground, and he used that as his fence, and nobody wanted to live by him. So listen, all houses have a price on it. You just got to kind of look at the office. The other thing is, I've had houses. I've bought multiple houses of motivated sellers. They sold the house. Why? Because the guy had 5 giant barking dogs behind it that wouldn't stop. So you have to factor this in, because like every time you go to show, you go, how often those dogs going to bark? And it does, because you can't remove the dogs. You can complain. And guys, as much as people knock HOAs, that's just they put those in to try to prevent it. Most of Port St. Lucie is a non-HOA. It's like I once personally lived in a house when he was really young. The guy decided to work on a monster truck in the driveway welding at 11 o'clock at night. Yep. And there's not enough blinds to block that stuff out. So look at the obvious. Also, go look at the electrical panel of every house if you're going to put it under contract. In Port St. Lucie, we used to open it up and they had the old bulbs in it. You needed a whole new electrical system. We can
go on and on about this forever. I'm telling you, just be careful with this type of
common sense, guys. A lot of it's common sense.
I agree. And so this is basically our 2024 formula for MAO. We basically kind of changed a little more about it. But basically, any property that's 125 grand or below, I would say use the 70%. So ARV minus repairs multiplied by 70%. ARV minus repairs multiplied by 80% if ARV is between 125 and 220. ARV minus repairs times 83% if ARV is between 220 and 300. Then 85% on ARV over 300. I don't know why it says under, but over 300. My bad there. But we'll cross that off. But yeah, ARV over 300,000. My bad on that. But that's our MAO formula. You can screenshot this. Just change the under. But yeah, that's pretty much.
And I want everyone to understand these are guidelines. Okay, when we're out talking to people, sometimes I already have a buyer lined up for a property, and if it gets tight, say the guy wants 200 for it, I already got a guy who's going to buy it for like 210, and I can't find any other buyer, something like that. Don't stick so hard to the rule that you leave $10,000. Like always, wholesaling is you have to link the risk versus reward. If I have almost no risk and I have a buyer already lined up, who cares? I'm exceeding Zach's number.
Exactly. Hey, just be careful for it. And so the last part on here is just repair costs. So this is our 2024 repair cost worksheet. Pretty similar to the other one, but we just had to switch a couple things off. I will tell you, everyone watching this video, this is my biggest pet peeve when people send me wholesaling deals. Zach, this deal only has $2,000 in repair costs. Whoa. You're telling me this house only needs $2,000 to make it look perfect. Like perfect. Yes, perfect. I'm like, so what, the crown molding? Oh, it has no crown molding. Well, You got to add that in if you want to, like, if you want an ARV, like a perfect one,
Mhm.
you're going to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is the landscaping all good and perfect? No, well, not really. To ask it remodeled. Like, guys, even if it's light, minimum, every property needs 15 grand. I don't care. Even if a property is 2 years old,
Yeah.
usually 15.
You should run this thing like the stock market. So the inflation adjusts every hour, like the stock market.
I've never found one property outside of a newly built house, I guess, that needed some repair costs. Always something. And so just like FYI, but this is it. Basically on 1,500 square feet and below, 1,500 to 3,000, then 3,000 square feet and above, light, medium, heavy repairs. Light is going to be for 1,500 square feet or below, 15 grand to 18 to 25 based on the square feet. And then 27 grand, 33,000, 45,000, then 60, 65, and 75,000 for the heavy. Now, we can go on a whole breakdown on what's between light, medium, and heavy. In my opinion, I've seen light is like, it doesn't need too much.
Yeah.
Possibly some paint, cosmetic work.
Cosmetic.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what cosmetic is. Cosmetic stuff that you can get done usually in under 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then medium's going to be okay. We got some issues. This is when we have to start pulling out the kitchen, changing out the vanities. The bath's got to be fixed. Obviously, new flooring, paint. Roof's definitely going to be in that question there too. Light, there's usually no roof issue, right?
No, light, honestly, usually within 2 weeks or less. Once you get in this middle, it's all about time.
And then heavy. And I have to stress heavy to you guys. This is very important here. There are different levels of heavy. All right. And what I mean by that is we have to replace all the drywall. It's Chinese drywall. We have to replace everything. Full rehab. It's an ugly house. Yeah. And then there's this crack house I did once.
Hoarder house too.
It is the worst house I've ever done in my entire life. It's actually on my YouTube channel.
You'll find one worse.
Channel had 300 views when I first started. I showed you. This house had no roof. It had mold all over.
That was bad.
Rats, cockroaches. It was the pool was green. Cracks everywhere. There were people doing crack in the home, like at night. There are piles of needles that, like, I don't call it a crack house to be funny. It's like, it's really bad. Imagine there's no roof, like no roof. Like, have you ever watched The Last of Us, that video game where they played it? Like, you see a house, there's no roof. It's like from the apocalypse. Like, that's what it was. It was really bad. And so I could tell there's every inch of the property had mold in it. And it was just as bad as you can imagine. No electrical. There's no electrical there anymore, right? Rats chew it up. And so, like, that is a different level than like we got to completely redo the whole thing on heavy, right? And so just letting you know there is a difference between heavies. And so it'll go from 60, 65, 75, but it can go up to 80 or 90. I've had $100,000 ones plus before too. So just keep that in mind. That is the repair cost worksheet. And so that's basically ARV. That's repair cost. It's calculating the value of the deal. Well,
I want to give a kind of final reminder here. The reason in wholesaling why you want to get the deepest discount possible, because you're never going to get the repairs perfect, and stuff is going to come up all the time. I always go back to that one story when we were working together on buying a house, and they go, "It's got Chinese drywall." Remember that? Realtor's going crazy on us. And Zach, I go, "What's the big deal?" We had such a deep discount, even if ready for this, even if it cost 30 to 50 grand, which was her estimate, we still would have made a ton of money.
There's no Chinese.
It wasn't. It was all fake. They just tried to get a discount. But I'm just telling you, you want to get the deepest discount in wholesaling using our go for no method. Listen, we are somewhat guesstimating and estimating on repairs. You're never going to get exact. There's always surprises. So guys, get the deepest discounts possible, because deep discounts cures most problems. When you overpay for something, it's painful and it is a learning curve, and you have to unwind it. Even to this day, we still have contracts. Sometimes we have to go back and fix because we miss stuff or stuff pops up. We cannot read all sellers' mind, read the property's mind. So guys, if your deal's tight and problems come up, your deal can go south quick. So you've got to work with your sellers, build that rapport, and get the best possible outcome on it. So
perfect. And
what are we going over now?
Now what we're going to do is we'll have Rick head out just so we can do one person here, and then you'll come back for the end here. But what we're going to do basically is kind of break down exactly, like on a live sense, this method of finding ARV, finding comps, and exactly figuring out how to find the buyers. So kind of more of an interactive implementation sense of what we're doing here. Okay. So we're going to talk about it. We'll shift this part up. And yeah, we're excited for here. And so we got Matt back here.
Hey.
Make it easier for everyone on here. But yeah, Matt, welcome back, man.
What's up, Zach? Yeah, dude, I don't mean to kick out Rick, so I hope he's doing well too. I love what you guys have been doing so far.
You gotta check out some deals.
There, you guys, yeah, practicing what you preach, man. Your Josh Allen trash talk was cracking me up too. So I love big game for the Dolphins on Sunday night. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, pumped up.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I'm very, very excited. I know came on yesterday, really covered quite a bit of ground in terms of driving for dollars, virtual driving for dollars, reverse driving for dollars, like figuring out how do you build that great list? How do you get in front of that great list? Really, really excited to make 2024 your guys' best year. Everybody on here live, making that, whether it's your first deal, your next 100 deals, like putting you on that fast track. Matt Camp over here with Deal Machine, head of partnerships over here. And just to briefly introduce us, I know if you haven't heard of us, we're the highest rated and most reviewed app out there to find off market deals. So, we've had over 10,000 deals done using the app. We've had a couple hundred YouTube videos on our channel talking through exactly how to go find deals from our customers, breaking down deals they've done. So we've got a little bit of authority to be able to come in and say, like, here's the data we're seeing. Here's how you come in and not just find great deals, but what we talk about today will be, okay, how to figure out what to offer, like you said, how to really come to that comping value. And then talking about cash buyers, like how to find great cash buyers to dispo to, and really break it down step by step for you guys today on how to do that. So
I'm ready, man. I'm excited.
Awesome. I do want to mention too, I know yesterday we gave away live, had over 100 people comment. We gave away live 50,000 free skip traces, which was awesome. A ridiculous amount of free skip traces with a year of Deal Machine Pro, which is 50,000 leads. We'll talk about more info later on exactly how to get data like that for cash buyers and for everything we're doing here today. But I do want to remind you guys too that we're doing one more giveaway. So if you do go in and you want to try us out and you just go to dmzac.com, do a 7-day free trial to follow along and run these comps for yourself, to go through everything we talked about yesterday and today. Whether you're watching this live right now or you're catching up on the recording, the giveaway is going to be next Thursday. So 6 days from now, you can go in there. If you start your free trial, you are entered into that giveaway where, again, we're going to be giving away another 50,000 free skip traces and then another entire year of Deal Machine with that. So it's going to be over $5,000 value, and excited to give that away to people too. Want to make sure I got that out there, man.
Exciting.
Yeah, love it. So, yeah, I mean, to kind of start off, I mean, Zach, I know you and Rick have been talking about like acquisitions, dispositions today, like really getting to that max level offer by comping and understanding how using comping to get to that after repair value, which, that's something I just frankly on our end, like that makes a massive difference on if you buy right or not. Right? Like getting graded that one skill, like Rick said, not every yes is good, not every yes is a real deal. Like getting graded this skill is going to make you way more money per deal, close, way more deals, and just have way more confidence, which like Rick said is the rocket fuel to being successful with this stuff. So, is there anything else, Zach, you wanted to add before we jump into the actual comps tool itself?
No, I want people to kind of see how to do it. Kind of implementing kind of what we talk about, right? Because there's talking about, then there's doing it. Like I said before, you can't read a book on how to ride a bike. So I'd rather just people kind of get it. I'm such a visual guy. So I love seeing that stuff.
Let's do it. Awesome. So to kind of kick us off, and I try to share my screen here for you guys. I would love if people can jump in the comments, if anyone can put a zip code for me. I love for somebody to throw in a zip code, be able to run with in real time, somebody here really help them out. Again, I showed this off yesterday. What you're looking at is the desktop version of Deal Machine right here, which again, you've got a mobile version, a desktop version. What I show you guys today, it's mobile friendly too, and it's using MLS data. So you can do this on your phone in the field. You can do this on desktop. We'll go through and show this for you guys specifically on desktop today, but this is MLS data that like usually you got to be an agent to access this, right? Like it's something that is the most up to date, the most accurate, most recent information out there for pulling comps. And especially if your market's moving, throughout the year like that, it's just so valuable and important to stay up to date on info, right? So it's going to include that. It's going to include things like days on market, which is great to understand. Like, hey, is this an area that things are having trouble selling. But I'll walk it through specifically. We've got a lot of zip codes in here. Awesome, guys. I'll pick out one of these. Let's see who was first. I'll walk through specifically with you guys one of these offers here. So, or one of these comp methods here. So let's go with, we've got 98273. Where is that? Washington. Nice. Okay, cool. So I'll put that zip code in. I do have a single family filter on right here. So, if you go up on the top, you'll see like, this is, the map where you're looking at, whether it be through this general, standard view or satellite view, you can really see, that specific area. And let me go back to 98273 for you to get to that. With that, you'll see at the top, we've got a ton of different filters you can work with. I recommend clicking on the single family filter. And based on that single family filter with 5989 98273 rather in Washington, that alone is going to get you to about 6,000 properties. So we're in the right place to start, right area. Appreciate you sharing that with me there, guys. And I know, Zach, appreciate you figuring out the screen share so that way we don't.
Yeah, we got to be careful. Obviously, there's a privacy policy. So if you want like a full deal machine tutorial, it's in freewholesaling.com, like on my private server. But if you do show too much, then the stream will get cut.
Yeah,
I don't want to strike on the channel.
Yeah, so I'll try to be careful here. So let me see here, Zach. Tell me if this is okay to show. Maybe turn off the screen share so make sure that you're good to show this real quick. But I'm just going to select one of the properties on here and pull up the comms tool. So is this? Let's see here. Let me find one better for you.
Yeah, if you do it like that, it'll be good. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. Let me find an area. This might be a little bit rural, it looks like. So it might be harder to find a lot of comps in this specific zip code. Yeah, Mount Vernon. Yeah, let's see here. You know what? Let's try the Phoenix area for you guys just because I want to really show as many comps as I can for you. Mount Vernon, for sure, any rural area is gonna be able to work with that as well, but you'll have to broaden up your comping criteria, right, to really fine-tune an area that's going to fit less transactions, right? So let me see here. Okay, perfect. Let me see comps. All right, we got one pulling up here. Cool. Awesome. So kind of going through this in real time, what this is going to look like. You go through, say you have, you've gone driving for dollars, you have virtually driven for dollars, you reversed E for D, you went through all this, you actually got a conversation with the seller, you went through Rick's playbook of how to talk to a seller, really went through and spoke to them to a point where you had a great conversation and they're saying, hey, what's the price? They want to know that offer price. And you went back and forth and they're giving you, price options here. Like Rick did an awesome job kind of explaining how to volley and let them, name it, or Zach talks about the good cop, bad cop approach, like all that stuff, apply all those things. They once gave you some amazing knowledge today on how to get to this conversation. But as you go through all this, make sure to use this as a way to really come in and bring data to the table where you are confident in the offer that you're locking up being a phenomenal wholesale deal. And so going in here, I'm going to choose, let's just choose a property in this area. Let's see, if you click on there we go. If you click on any individual house, you'll be able to go in and it's going to pop up your property card inside Deal Machine. And again, this is on desktop. On mobile, looks just like this too, except for, obviously on a smaller screen. But when you click into that info, that property card, at the top, you'll see a comps button. And this comes with every single plan on Deal Machine. You click into comps, you're going to be able to jump in and be able to see right away, okay, now I can adjust my comping where I can filter and change my filters by a variety of factors here. You can go in and again, you've got MLS data or county record data to work with. So you've got a couple things there you can adjust. With this, I'll go down line by line. So, they talked about first and foremost, the date of the sale. So I have, within the last 3 months is what I've got adjusted right here for you guys. So, that's something I know, depending upon the amount of transactions in your market, depending upon the activity in your market, depending upon, the density of your market, you can broaden that or shorten that time frame. But obviously the sooner, the better, the smaller the time frame, the better is to be most accurate, most up to date, most confident what you're getting right there. So I have 3 months right here to start with. Square footage, you can go in here and adjust all of these and say, hey, yeah, I want square footage. I have a general range of plus or minus 15%. I think it's a pretty good rule of thumb. I know Zach had said plus or minus 250 square feet as an option. square footage range, 10%, 15%, 20%, somewhere in there is going to really give you that plus or minus 250 square footage. Obviously, like depends on the size of the property, but recommend starting there. Next level down, you can go with year built. And Zach had talked about let's adjust this to 10 years, since I know that's something that you talked about, Zach. Let's broaden this up to 6 months, just because I want to try to see if I can pull in a few more properties here for you. So I've gone in here and adjusted and say, okay, here's my date range, here's my square footage plus or minus, here's my year built, which again we went plus or minus 10 years, so that way that the general developer, general architecture is going to be similar. That's coming up within that year built range. Floor plan, that's the bed and bath right here. That's going to be important, especially for banks assessing this property, the end cash buyer. Like they're going to care about that the floor plan and comping accordingly. So if you can go in there and adjust the beds and baths based on that, that's going to be helpful too. And then final thing is range right here, which I would say that range of sticking to somewhere between half a mile and a mile. There you go. You can see all that pretty well. Half a mile and a mile. You can get really, really exact here if you want to zoom in and, not cross any major streets by using this draw tool, this upper left corner. You've got a little draw tool right here. Or if you click into that and say like, yeah, I don't want to cross, let's see, West Indian School Road. I want to stay to this subdivision, this area. Cool. Awesome. I can draw around this. And now I've nailed that down on the spot to 3 individual comps that are MLS, sold within the last 6 months, fit the plus or minus 15% square footage, plus or minus 10 years built, similar floor plan, and all of that laid out for you right there. So you can pinpoint block by block with that draw tool. Great for cities where every block can be very drastically different depending upon the city. But going into this, you can see that, hey, I've got these 3 comps ready to go. I can even click into it and see if there's any MLS photos. Let me check to see if I've got any. It's going to be dependent on the property itself. So if you click into that, a lot of times we'll have MLS photos for you there to really compare those. But just like Zach had said, once you've got that all lined up, it dynamically divides all of these into $1 per square footage to give you that estimated value on the spot. So you've got a $304,968 estimated value, a very specific offer, which I think those specific offers go a really long way as well with sellers, because it shows you put some thought into it and you're not just, pulling out a round number like that. So I think, from a comping perspective, again, they did a phenomenal job of showing you, exactly the criteria to think through. Here's how to put it into practice on the go or on desktop right there for you. And Zach, I want to show it off on the AI version as well. But any thoughts here?
Yeah, you also got to mention the really important part here is you got a repair estimate on there too.
Yes.
And so that's a really important part, because it's right there too. When you click it, you can show everyone.
Yeah. So if you go into the info of the property, you go down here, this repair cost. So I was going to dig into this here briefly with the AI piece. The repair data right there is awesome. Like that is something that's going to give you another leg up, because it's a general range. Like, Rick talked about that, like don't have a comp bias. Like you're not going to get to the exact dollar, what that repair cost looks like. But on this property card, you'll see we've got a building condition code straight from the county. And it'll tell you like, hey, is this, what's the building quality? What's the building condition there? I scroll down there for you. And you can be able to look and see it's taking that building condition code. It's taking the repair cost per square footage in that area. It's multiplying that by the size of the house. And it's coming to a general estimated repair cost based on all those factors. So that repair data right there, that's something that is going to be unique, something on the go. We've had people validate this, like literally drive by properties and be like, yeah, that's pretty damn good. So having that and knowing that's factoring into your equation here in the comping, that goes a long way. So awesome.
I agree 100%. The only thing I will tell you about software, and I know Matt, you know this, how most software works is they're all accurate, but you still have to always verify. If I have a deal under contract, I'm going to look it up. I will say it's never perfect. And so even Deal Machine, every software has this. Matt's not individually looking at, 200 million properties and then individually putting the data in, because that's impossible. It's using APIs. It's trying to go from county websites. Some county websites are weird. They'll put under air and then they have weird lists for the API. And sometimes, and I'll say this, it might be 1,500 square feet, but in reality, it's 1,300 because it had a porch that is not under air, but it came with the API. So I would go to the property appraiser just to check it out, just to make
Mhm.
sure, because never 100%. If you need to get like perfect numbers on there, but for most of the time, it's absolutely perfect. My only worry is some people take the deal machine value as like gospel, as like this is what the thing's worth, and sometimes you gotta like look in the comps and dig a little deeper on it. That's the only thing I've ever seen. Just always look at the property appraiser just to completely verify it, because I've been wrong before. Sometimes people put additions to the property that's not permitted, and then like the deal machine doesn't have it. But like for software, it's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah, I mean it's a great pro tip right there where you're coming in and saying like, yeah, I mean for sure, how you should think about technology is a productivity tool. It's not a replacement tool.
Yeah.
You're not coming in and completely replacing all of what you do and your value. It's making you more efficient, more effective, and helping you do more deals and better deals. But it's not coming in and replacing everything. Like I highly recommend you as the human, you investing in your knowledge. You're here today. You're at a huge step up compared to most people by just going through today's and yesterday and these 7 days right here. Use that knowledge you've learned, put that into practice, and let technology amplify that. So,
Oh no, it's the shovel, right? You're trying to dig with your hands,
exactly,
right? And so it's all about the. All right, let's see what we got here.
Yeah. So going into this here too, now the other option as well that I would also recommend, you're talking about like validation. I think using our AI assistant that we've built in for quick analysis is also highly recommended. Like this is something that we've gotten awesome feedback on. We call it Alma inside here. So if you hear me say Alma, that's what I'm referring to. But it's really the first of its kind AI assistant to help you guys go deal finding. It's like a co-pilot for deal finding. And so it's all completely real estate investing specialized. It combines the power of using AI and, ChatGPT in the back end of that with just our, massive amount of off-market property data. It can give you insights and guidance that you wouldn't get through just Googling it or using an outside AI tool because, hey, you're getting data that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. And it's built into the app, so it's super fast and easy to access and just helps you with that speed to deal, which is just so crucial to act fast and act confidently. So, and then I will mention, like, it is super easy to use it from a standpoint of like, if you've never used anything AI before, if you've never used even ChatGPT, any of that stuff, like the magic in this is the prompting. And us on the back end coming in and really, telling it, here's all the data, here's how to think, here, act as this, do this, really giving it parameters for you. So it's very focused and specialized. And then you coming in and having even some preset prompts to just click on to work with, like that's going to be what guides you and really helps you really do, that property evaluation analysis on a second level too. So it's been super helpful. There's a lot of use cases, in terms of like ways it can be helpful, but I would say property analysis, property valuation, that's one of the top ones out there on how to use Alma here. And this is for Deal Machine Pro and up. So if you're on Deal Machine Pro, I'd recommend going in and like, for example, let me just find, pick a random property, go in here. Cool. I've got a lot of data on it. This little bottom floating tool right here, you click on that and it's going to pull up Alma right inside Deal Machine for you. And it says, hi, I'm Alma, your AI real estate assistant. I'm still in the learning phase, so please be patient. We launched this like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, so it's still newer. Feel free to ask me anything about this address. And you can go in and you have a couple preset prompts right here. You've got analyze this property, and you can click on that. Just simply start there. Don't overthink it. And when you go into there, it'll say, hey, what kind of investment strategy are you looking to use? Let's wholesale. And it'll come in and say, well, hey, based on this, it's going to look at the loan amount. It's going to go and do back of the napkin math on what the max allowable offer is that, Zach and Rick were talking through, which you can adjust a lot on there. You can adjust like discount percentage, how much wholesale fee you want. Like you can adjust all that math in here for it if you go back and forth with it. But it's going to say like, hey, yeah, this current owner has, $337K in equity. It looks like it's free and clear right here. The max allowable offer is $177K. And it'll go in and say, hey, this could indeed make for a good wholesale deal because your max allowable offer is bigger than the loan that needs to be paid off on it, which is zero. So, it'll come in and, say the loan's bigger than your max allowable offer. It'll come in and say, hey, this might not be a good wholesale deal. So it'll kind of come in and just help you do a little bit of quick analysis on the property itself. And you can even go in, kind of take that next step with any property and just say, okay, well, let me click on a property. And if I want to pull up Alma right here, I can go to my prompts and just say, calculate the offer price. That's one option right here. And again, you've got the comping tool. So that's a great place to start. But if I want to go in and say like, what is the wholesale deal offer price for this? It'll go through and do that max level offer for you right in front of you. Like it's running the numbers, it's coming in and showing you, well, hey, here's the ARV we just calculated. Here's, we have a discount rate of 70% is the default. Here's the general repair cost from the rehab data that we have down here from the 53K. And it'll lay that out for you right in a table and just help you, again, double check your math. Here's the repair cost right here. Double check your math and say, yeah, here's the max allowable offer of what we recommend for this property. So this thing, again, like Zach said, productivity tool, helps assist what you're doing. Don't take it as gospel, but awesome, powerful technology to be able to tap into and use on the go anywhere. So
yeah. Also, like I've said before, the AI, it's only as good as the questions you ask it. And so, for example, it's using 7%, which is very smart to do just in general. You can say, can you change the 7% to 80? Can you change this to this and do this? Like you can just manually just tell it something and it'll go out here and just switch it up. That's why I love it so much. You can also, the cool part about that is, if my average square feet on the comps is X, right? What would this property be worth? Or like you got to be smart with the answer
conversation
on it, but like you can. If you give it dumb questions, it's going to give you dumb answers. Smart questions give you really smart answers for it. One other thing I really like too is you can ask it specifically. You don't have to ask, you just get. It's kind of cool. You get the phone because you have Deal Machine. Basically, the skip tracing is free. Like I don't think it's unbelievable to me, and I have to repeat myself again. But like, because no other person on the internet talks about this. You just click a button and get the phone number right there. No one ever talks. It's free skip tracing. I don't know why I keep repeating this because it's like nobody outside of us talks about this, which is nuts to me. And because they all want you to spend $3,000 on their skip tracing program, it's crazy, but almost great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, just to show you that conversation, like you said, I put in, can you change the discount rate to 80% and rerun the numbers? Well, you can go back in here and there does it for you right there. So you can come in and see, okay, well, hey, here's the max allowable offer now. It's 220K instead of 186. So it almost great for the property analysis. You can do things like it helps you communicate with sellers, like coming up with SMS copy and email copy, or help me practice negotiating, things like that, like kind of go back and forth and have conversations there, or helps you find resources, that type of stuff. But I think the property analysis piece of it is where most people are starting with it. So
yeah, it works really, really well. On top of that too, you got to tell exactly like what you can do, but like you can also input your own repair cost numbers in it too, and it'll pop it up in there, make a little calculation.
Yep.
Switch the repair cost to this. Switch it to this. What's the average repair cost if it's 1,200 square feet for a roof? And like, it's just stupid stuff to ask. I don't think I've ever asked that, but like it'll pop it up. It's great. So like, if you're really new, I mean, this is kind of a must-have type thing. Like if I could have asked someone exactly, roughly what the flooring would cost for a 1,300 square foot house in Phoenix, Arizona, crazy, right? This is stuff you can do. So that's why I love it too. But the skip tracing I think it's bar none insane for it too. So I love it.
Yeah. So let me show that for you guys here. I know we touched on it yesterday of like a couple different ways to be able to use this skip tracing, but on the dispo side, on the cash buyer side, like now that, again, you drive for dollars, you virtual drive, you reverse D for D, you get the, go through the whole conversation like Rick and Zach both showed you guys today. You run the comps, have a great offer, blocking a deal. Now looking on the dispo side, going through that whole process, okay, how do I find great cash buyers? Well, the unlimited free skip tracing goes toward that as well. So I highly, highly recommend going in here and use this as an awesome way to build a cash buyers list. Again, Rick said it's quality over quantity, right? So if you can just simply start off and say, I got a deal in 63109 St. Louis, that's, I'm in St. Louis here. So looking at South City, St. Louis, say I just had a deal, I've got a deal right here ready to dispo. If you want to go into that cash buyers piece from here, you can simply, put in that zip code. So I put in 63109 up here for me. I went in and then also filtered out and said, hey, show me all the single family homes in this area. So, I'm knowing like this same asset class is what they're owning. And based on that, you've got a quick filter right here that you can just step by step click on this, go in and scroll down and say, hey, show me all the potential cash buyers in this area. And when you click into that, the criteria we're showing you is they own at least 2 or more properties. They own at least one of them free and clear. And a lot of these smaller portfolio owners can be that like fresh out of the seminar type investor that maybe they own that second property and they're like, man, this is a great strategy. I need to get into real estate more. And they're looking to scale. Like, this is a great way to be able to start building that list where you can say, yeah, now I've got, 739 properties right now that fit that exact criteria, and, export that list, like go in there and hit build list, confirm build. And every single one of those properties that we're coming in here with is going to give you that unlimited contact info. Like that's something we told you guys yesterday, is where our goal is to change the industry here and make it so you guys never have to pay for skip tracing again. Like, come in here, you've got all the phone numbers to text and call, and you've got emails, all the contact right through here, built into every single new deal machine account, even our basic plan. So use this as a way to like come in, get that cash buyer info. And it's data that we've spent a ridiculous amount of money and resources on to make it like killer data for you guys. Like, it's the same data that you're using at 911 call centers and call, your spam caller IDs. Like, that's what they're using. And like banks and financial institutions use this stuff for compliance. Like, it's really, really high quality from that perspective. So go in there and take advantage of that by just going in, pulling that list. And then if you go to your leads tab right here, which Zach, you might want to keep this hidden. I think there's a lot of phone numbers on here.
Yeah, but
there we go. Now I've got it fixed.
Buyers too. The reason why DMZac.com works really well with it is because it's dummy proof. Like, if you have a list of people that are buying houses for cash, like you're on the right list. Okay. Like, there's no way to be stupid with this. Okay. And you just, and then here's the problem. The reason why, I try to support DMZac.com, number one, as best skip trace you can get for the money you're going to spend and driving for dollars and all that great data. But like you guys are doing something that's going to change the industry, and you guys are doing it. And without you guys, you'd still have to pay $3,000 a month in skip tracing, which you're giving people for free when people sign up. But the most important part why we added DMZac.com with this challenge is because it eliminates the worst thing possible for people getting started: excuses. Oh, well, I don't know how to find buyers. Go to DMZac.com, click cash sales. Oh, I don't have $5,000 this month to spend in skip tracing on 500 leads. To call 500 buyers, which you should probably be calling 500 if you want to get the deal sold, get like a really ton good quality. It's that's $500 in skip tracing, and get 5,000. So 500 is going to be at minimum $75-$80, which is insane, which is less than what deal machine even will cost you. You get it basically for free. You just click a button. But there's no, I have to export and pay. No, click a button. Phone number's there. And the reason why I love it, because when you're using DMZac.com, the biggest issue like paid software companies have, especially with skip tracing, is I'm talking about like a skip tracing company, which isn't what you guys do, but like you'll import the LLC and it'll say nothing because it's LLC. But the cool part about how you guys work is you click the LLC, go to the mailing address, you'll go to where the guy lives, and then you just click his phone number right there.
Yep.
And that's a big secret.
Yeah, that's a huge one for us. So basically what we're doing on the background and what you do in a normal skip trace in general is very, very different. So a traditional skip trace is based on the property itself. And so when they move, it's bad data. It's, like you said, if it's an LLC, it's not going to give you that person behind it. Like it's why a lot of times when you skip trace, you get 5, 10 or more numbers a lot of times, because it's, it's pulling that kind of property records or that property data rather. Now what we have on the back end is we're matching people to phone numbers like this. So you're coming in and we have a database of people that, if you have an LLC with the same mailing address as that individual, we're tying those together. Like that's why it's improved accuracy. That's why you're getting phone numbers of people that you wouldn't normally get, is because we're matching them on the back end like that. And our goal with that is to give you the best cash buyers list out there, because you can look behind who's that LLC, the same mailing address, boom, already linked together. And now, hey, Larry, if I want to get in contact with Larry, I can touch the email address, click on that phone number, get all of that. If I click on that individual, it's going to tell me more information about them. Like it's got that demographic data in terms of their portfolio size and estimated worth there. And, a lot of things that you can really dig in to get to know that person and really qualify them further. So this is an awesome list to start with, of just being able to go in, outline your area of where you have that deal, click cash buyers and start there. And you've got the contact info all ready to reach out to them and nurture them. And even like that Facebook group script you gave, Zach, that is an awesome place to start. Just simply email that to them or text them or call them. And, you're already going to build these quality, serious relationships with cash buyers that way.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree. So let's see how we cold call these cash buyers and actually find them.
Love it, man. Yeah. Do you want to do it? I was going to say I'm game. I'll follow your lead.
No, just pull the list and just show people how to get it.
Yep. So going in here, the one I just pulled is right here for you guys. And so I went in again. I went to the map, went to 63109, filtered by single family homes, and clicked on cash buyers. You've got 739 properties that fall under that criteria owned by these individuals. So you've got all that right at your disposal right there. And then I hit build list. This bottom quarter, I hit build list. That's going to pull that list into your leads tab. The leads tab is kind of like your CRM to work these leads. And when you jump into that, I pulled up that list and I've got, all 739 leads ready to go with phone numbers, with email addresses, all of that ready to dig into and start calling right on the spot. So, that would love to come on in the future and literally, call people live with you, man. But that's the process for you step by step. Trying to make it simple.
Simple, it's easy. It's dmzac.com. I mean, there's not much debating on it. I'm telling you, stuff works. And it's insane how much you guys have upgraded. You definitely changed the way a lot of softwares are being done. And I think it's just going to overall help the wholesaling industry. That's why I got to support you. Like, I just want everyone to understand this. I've told David this a lot, but the reason why no other guru, other person will ever talk about you is our dmzac.com, how amazing it is because they own skip tracing companies. You didn't believe, they own companies they're used to pouring and giving you $4,000 or $5,000 a month in skip tracing to give you 300, 400 leads. That's what they're used to, right? And they get the data for a penny, charge you 12 cents for it, and then they try to. And the thing is, they're scared right now because they can't make money off that anymore. And they're like, oh, shoot, Zach's giving these free challenges away. I can't charge $12,000 to go to a seminar. And it's stressing them out. And so that's why I want to put their foot on their necks, and just have the best software out here. And I'm telling you, the word's coming out there. dmzac.com. I love it. Great skip tracing for the money. I mean, the best you can get for the money. And it's definitely just going to help more people talk to more sellers, which is more money.
Yeah, that's our goal, is making you guys more successful, right? So on our end, again, we're going to be doing that giveaway one more time. So we gave away an entire year of Deal Machine with 50,000 free skip traces yesterday. Going to do it again. All you have to do is, if you want to try out Deal Machine, try this stuff out, see how the skip tracing works and all the free contact info. Again, yesterday we gave a ton of advice on how to build your list with it. Just if you go to dmzac.com and start that free trial, then on Thursday next week, everyone who started it, while watching this, is going to be in a free giveaway for another entire year of it, as well as those 50,000 free skip traces, the pro plan. So we're excited to do that next week, man. And I'll let you know who wins.
Awesome, man. Love to see it. Appreciate it.
Good stuff.
All right, sir. See you, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Beautiful. So appreciate Matt there. Love to see it. Let's plug this little thingy in here. All right, let's go. There we go. Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, it's insane. So dmzac.com, check it out. Changing the way we're doing it. No guru in their right mind will ever talk about this. They can get basically free unlimited skip tracing from this because they can't make money off of you. That's the point. They can't funnel you to their skip tracing platform where they're trying to make it. There's people bragging that, I collected $500,000 in skip tracing revenue. And it's crazy. And so we're changing the game on it. Just helping the people out best we possibly can. And so I'm using that to help the best people out. So we're here to go. We're gonna have Rick come back. We're gonna recap exactly a game plan for you. But let's kind of talk about right now what this means for you, right? What game plan should you be using to become successful? Like, what should we be doing? We really need a plan of attack. So let's kind of get the whiteboard out here and really break down a plan of attack for you. And so let's go move a couple things out here, and we'll break it all down. But let's talk about this. Appreciate the drip today. All right, can y'all see this whiteboard? Hold on. There we go. Oh Lord, don't tell Rick I'm doing this. All right. Whee! All right. So let's talk about a game plan for success here. Okay. And excuse me for the audio. All right. let's talk about this. All right. We have leg day today, so we got the shorts. All right. So we're starting out in 2024. Let's talk about exactly what we're doing. All right. 2024. What is our game plan for success? All right. This business comes down to 3 simple parts, right? Like I've said, there's marketing, acquisitions, and dispositions. So this is finding the motivated seller, right? Finding the motivated seller, getting the property under contract, then selling it. I want you to understand this very, very importantly. If we eliminate marketing, there's no acquisitions and no dispositions. This stuff doesn't work if there's no marketing. It all starts at marketing. And what I can tell you is the hardest part, if I look at anyone's wholesaling business here, okay? The majority of everyone's problem when it comes as a beginner of, oh, I'm not making any deals or doing no deals. It is never an acquisitions problem. It's never a dispositions problem. Most of the time, it is a marketing problem. Marketing is where it all stems from. And what I can tell you is in a wholesaling real estate operation, if you are okay at acquisitions and okay at dispositions, and you are really good at marketing, you will make the most money. The wholesaler that is elite at marketing and just kind of okay at this, they will make 2 times more money than the person that's just okay on marketing and elite at acquisitions, elite at dispositions. This is why when I see people that are like acquisition specialists, like, oh, this is the key to success. It's not the key to success. I'll tell you this right now. Elite marketers are the ones that win in wholesaling. If you really look at the top wholesalers in the entire country, they are elite marketers. They are not acquisition specialists. Okay, they're not disposition specialists. They all specialize in marketing. That is the point here. And so how do I get started marketing? What's kind of a game plan for success for the marketing side? Because the scripts and dispo, like it's all in there, right? We kind of always show you. So if we're looking to get started here, we have to kind of break down exactly what we're going to do. And so this is a budget, right? So we're going to do a, you know, I have bad handwriting, FYI. So just chill out with that. We have a budget, right? And budget's divided by 2 things. Time and money. So we're going to look at, let's do January 1st if we're going to start the year, right? To the 30th. All right. Forgive me. Let's do January, okay? Let's break this all down. Yeah, I know I have terrible handwriting. But we have, this is literally why I just talk to sellers on the phone. I don't do anything. All right. We have time budget and money budget. All right. We have to understand here in wholesaling real estate that our money, we don't really need it. So if I have $0 and I have 20 hours a week, based on this, I can do a lot of stuff, right? Now, if you come back to me and say I only have 2 hours a week, but I have $1,000 a week I can spend on marketing, we can do different things. And so it's all going to depend on what we can do here. And so we can go back to this little chart here. This is what I always do for wholesalers. We can kind of do a method here. And so this is probably 20 hours, I'm going to say cold calling. If you have 2 hours a week and only $1,000, honestly, what I can tell you is we're probably most likely going to do direct mail, DM. And so that being said, if we have to make a decision exactly what our budgets are. Do we have a time budget or a money budget? Which one are we going to be using right now? And that being said, if I can figure out for most wholesalers, let's talk about most of them right now. Oh. I'm talking about most wholesalers. We're going to stick to 3 strategies. All right. 2024, we're going to stick to 3 strategies. All right. Cold calling, SMS, and I would say direct mail. And not what you think. And what I mean by this is if you are a beginner wholesaler, FYI. Cold calling is going to be the fastest way to gain your skills. Fastest way to gain your skills. It's not even close. If you want to gain your skills talking to sellers, cold calling is going to be the way. SMS. You don't have to pay for an SMS program. All right. All you have to do, okay, is use your Google Voice, use your personal cell phone, all of these things, and it'll actually help you out the best of texting the sellers out. And then last, direct mail. You don't have to send mail out. You can send you can send postcards, but you can send sticky notes out here. Actually put them on doors. That is direct mail too. And so I'd say for the majority of wholesalers going out right now, these are going to be the three, okay? These are going to be the three most likely ways. I would say for 80% of all wholesalers, 80% of everyone watching this today that's going to get their first deal, they're going to use these three strategies. And I help hundreds of thousands of people out with this. 80% get it from these three strategies. I don't care whatever you're going to do. Whatever you're going to say is it comes back to these three strategies. Now, we're the top list to do, right? We have government lists. We have paid lists. We have earned lists, the things we've talked about today. We're really sharing exactly what we're doing. But the point of all this, the point of all of our efforts and why we're trying to do 7 deals in 7 days in this whole challenge here today, we're all doing this for one specific reason. There's one KPI. I always talk about this. It's the honest truth, though. It's offers. Okay. This is the goal. This is the holy grail. This is what it's all about. Offers. That's the KPI. If you are not making offers, you are not making money. So the question is, right? How do I get offers? How do I do that? How do I get offers done, right? Let's kind of break this down, right? To get offers, you must have marketing, right? Without marketing, there are no offers to be done. You get offers, you get contracts, then you'll get a contract, and then basically you'll get your money when you get the contract sold, right? And so, of course, everyone wants the money. But you got to understand that if you have really bad marketing, you're not going to get any offers. And this is the main part that we need to be looking at today. And so in wholesaling real estate in 2024, it's all about offers. And the only way to produce a ton of offers is produce a ton of marketing. So more marketing, more money. That is what we're talking about today. That is the point here. The more marketing we do is the more money we're going to make in wholesaling real estate. So this is what we have to be doing. We have to start making offers. Best way is just to market like crazy and make a ton of money wholesaling. Let me know what questions you got. Let me answer some questions, and then we'll break down exactly this entire challenge for you. But you got to know. And then here's the last one I always like doing. Gurus equal broke. Okay, does this make sense? Okay. Gurus equal broke. Broke equal gurus. Facts. All right. So let's go back here. Let's answer some questions we got here. I'm trying to set you guys up for 2024 for the best success possible. This is what we have to do. So let's break this all down. Let's get it going. And let's go here. All right. There we go. Let's go. All right. So Giovanni, what is up, Giovanni here? Giovanni said the kickoff to 2024 is all I need. Appreciate it. Awesome. Oh my gosh. My boy got the dog trainer right. It's actually pretty funny. All right. Let's see here. Game plan, determination, account. I like that. Determination, accountability, that stuff's all good, but you just got to do the work. And no one ever talks about that. You just set a goal. I'm going to make 300 cold calls every single week for the next, 52 weeks for the year. That's all it is. That's what this business is all about. Okay. That is exactly what we got to start doing. That's what it's all about. If you're not doing it, you're not making money wholesaling. That's the key here. Let's see here. Awesome. Let's see here. Love all these questions, though. Love all the networking, too. Let's see here. All right. So let's see here. Where are we at? A lot of zip codes. Holy moly. There's a lot of people on. I like it. Let's see here. Got here. What's up? I see. This is a weird one. It's hard finding deals. There's a lot of competition. I truly believe that's a mindset issue you do have. If you truly do believe right now, okay, that is the competition's the problem, that's an excuse. And what was I about yesterday about excuses? Excuses are the mental fabrication in your mind of why you can't reach your goal. Well, I can't do wholesaling deals because there's competition. Of course there's competition. Duh. You got to rise up. You think Kobe Bryant cared about competition? He didn't care. He just rose above it. That is the point. Drives me crazy. Gaxiolia. What's up, Gaxiolia? Said, do I decide the assignment fees? Yes, you do it. You do decide your assignment fees. I mean, how do you decide that assignment fee is always going to be dependent on exactly like what you want to do, but usually the market rate. And so whatever buyer will buy it for the most, minus off your contract price, and that's basically where you're at. There's really can't really complicate it too much from there. That's basically how you decide your assignment fee. Fear says, Zach's 24-year-old multimillionaire living in his own house. If you're not listening to this information, you seriously think you're right, you can do your own thing. Actually, my haters are right. I do live in my mom's basement. That's actually where I really live. But yeah, no, just kidding. But yeah, no, guys, I can only get you to the point where I'm at right now in my life, and I make a lot of money wholesaling houses. That's kind of the point we're trying to get you at here. Paul says, "Are my comments being seen?" No, there are not. I'm not. I don't even see your comment right now. Just kidding. I just pulled it up. Duh. Of course I see everyone's comments on here. So got Rick back here. He's got to move this whole thing for you. But yeah, that's some questions. Oh. All righty. Nice. All right. Okay. Perfect. All right. So let's see here. Awesome. Let's see here. Hey, Zach, I'm joining from Michigan. Awesome. No more buying courses following Zach and Rick. I'm telling you, save you $6,000. Save your life. Jeez Louise. Let's see here. Eat or be eaten. I love it. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll do a JV deal, sellmypaper.com, if it's being done by a realtor. You just got to just kind of be upfront with it and just let us know everything. But if it's a contract, we can wholesale it, bring the buyer through them. Yeah. So let's talk about this challenge. Let's kind of recap it. But really quick before we're done recapping, if you want to learn wholesaling for free, we do have a free wholesaling course. It's called freewholesaling.com. And if you have a wholesaling deal you want to JV with us, you just go to sellmypaper.com and we'll help you out on here. So we'll get Rick over here, talk about it. Let me get his mic all set up here. And, we'll go from there. So here we go. Here's your mic.
Got it.
Welcome back.
All right.
So let's talk about this challenge. Let's talk about exactly how beginners can get started. If you're watching this challenge, you want to get started. So what I've personally found in wholesaling real estate is there are 10 steps to wholesaling real estate. I don't care what you do, what you think about. There are around 10 steps to getting started in wholesaling real estate. And what I want to do is just in the nitty gritty, there's really 3 steps, but like if you want to individually look at wholesaling from a start to finish perspective, there are 10 ways. And so if you're watching this super brand new, not knowing what to do, all these 10 steps, these are only steps you're doing to get rich. This is what we're doing. And so let's break these all down right now. So step 1, find the right wholesaling market. I think we've talked about this before, right? I think we've kind of gone into grave detail about this, but to find the right wholesaling market, we have to make sure we're in a population with at least 100,000 people in it,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure the average median home price is below 400,000 to 500,000. We kind of talked about this yesterday. Just understand we got to find if we have the right market or not. Now, step 2 is to find a title company or closing attorney. We just talked about that today, right?
Yeah, went into detail on that.
And so make sure you're there's some states that have closing attorneys and lawyers. And then there are some states that actually just use title companies. You can look up if you're an attorney state or not. It's not really that crazy big of a deal. But yeah, find your title company like we talked about today. You find your title company after you find the right market. Okay? Just FYI, you just got to do that and it'll help you out from there. And then we go here to step 3 is to find at least, and I'll tell you, minimum, I'd probably focus on finding around 5 qualified cash buyers. Now, the reason is because I feel like a lot of wholesalers get so confused where to market to. So I'll say try to at least get your feet a little into this business, right? Find at least 5 buyers. You can do other things too. You can try to find 12 buyers or 1 buyer, but I would say just try to find 5 just to kind of get a good grip on this and try to understand and find at least 5 qualified cash buyers. And now, the next one here is to pull 3 government lists, right?
Yeah, I mean, real straightforward. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So in wholesaling, you need the highest motivation humanly possible. And that's why we always want you going after government list. High motivation, they're free, but you guys are going to have to work through the process of getting this list. It's not the easiest in the world, but it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and so let me repeat myself. I did not start here. 3 government lists. You choose 3. So it can be any government list that we've talked about, right? It can be a fire damaged property, it can be a code violation, a foreclosure. You have to choose 3. That is the rule. You have to choose 3.
That's it.
Drawing for dollars count? No, it's on a government list. Choose 3 government lists. Simple and easy. I will if you can reverse draw for dollars and replace 1, but pull 3 government lists all for the past month. And step 5, we are going to pull 100 drawing for dollars leads a week. Whoa, a little scary, right? And so if you're in person, you can do 2. If you're going to drive for dollars, even crazier. But it depends if you're virtual or not. If you're doing virtual, do 4 government lists. But step 4, pull 3 government lists. Step 5, we're going to pull 100 drawing for dollars leads a week. And I repeat myself. I ain't stuttering here. It's a little scary, but hey, we want to get successful, right?
Yep.
Step 6, we're going to skip trace all 1,000 records. Simple, easy, right? Pulling those 3 government lists plus those 100 should be around 1,000 records. Now, we kind of talked about before. You can do on cyberbackgroundchecks.com like we talked about yesterday, or truepeoplesearch.com. DMZack.com is going to be way easier for 1,000, like quick, easy, simple, and snap of a finger. But you can do whatever you want. I would also reverse drive for dollars, but you don't have to. I mean, we'll talk about it a little later here. But you can skip trace all 1,000 records. Now, step 7, we start calling. We do the action. We do the work to get successful. We're going to call and text all 1,000 records. Did I say some records? No, all. We're going to call and text all 1,000. It's not complicated. Is this complicated to you?
No, this is the action step, guys. This is like, if you don't do this part, nothing else you're going to do at work. So this is where a lot of you freak out. Just do it. I've already told you, me and Zach prepared you. The anxiety is so much worse than the actual calls and the contacts. They're just people just like you and me. You're going through a process. Just don't let your feelings get hurt, because the only person that can hurt your feelings is yourself. So if you let them, it's just how you interpret the data. Make the calls. You're going to get more no's than yes. Prepare for it and have fun with it. For God's sakes, it's not that bad. You guys make it so much worse than it actually is.
You guys do, seriously. So 1,000 texts and calls. Guys, you can use Google Voice. You can use your cell phone to the text. It's not 1,000 is going to be 10 days of free texting if you do it the right way. Google Voice and your personal cell. Simple. We teach at freewholesaling.com how to do this, right? Start calling and texting those 1,000 records. If you want to really know where exactly the script is, go to freewholesaling.com. It's right there. Number 8, we find these motivated sellers, write up a contract. Now you might be like, wait, how do I get a contract? How do I fill out a contract? Well, guess what you did yesterday? We literally made it part of this challenge, dude, so you don't have any excuses. Stop with the excuses. Stop with the games. Like, what are you stopping yourself for? You're literally keeping yourself in this perpetual cycle of being broke. You have to break the change right now and make a change. If you don't change, nothing changes. This is what you have to ask yourself right now so you actually make this change right now. Go out here and do it. Find the sellers, go after it, talk to them. Find the sellers, and then lock up the deal. Step 9. Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, just sell your deals to cash buyers. Just make sure they're qualified. And the word cash buyers is very loose out there. You actually have to vet them to find out if they're real cash buyers or they're wannabe pretend wholesalers trying to make money off your back. No problem with JV deals as long as people are transparent up front with it. Most wholesalers hide behind their cash buyers and just try to pick off because other people teach them. Just pick off other wholesalers to do the hard work and you just find a seller for it. That's kind of called being a realtor, but the best way to prevent these people from wasting your time is vet them. We went through thorough questions to ask people and it will shake every one of them out. Guys, if you skip this process, you're going to go all the way to the finish line and you're not going to get there because you need real cash buyers for these contracts and you need people that are qualified so you can move your deal so you can put cash in your bank account.
Yep. And step 10, closing day. Get our money. Done.
Get your money.
Easy. So let's go over this one more time, right? Screenshot this if you want. It doesn't matter. But this is it. Find the right wholesaling market. Find the title company or closing attorney. Find 5 qualified cash buyers. So when you get the deal locked up, you have no excuses. Step 4, pull 3 government lists, at least 300 each, I would say. 300, 900 plus 100 driving for dollars leads, 1,000. Skip trace all 1,000 records. Start calling and texting all 1,000 records. Find this. There will be a motivate. There will be a deal there. Find the seller, lock up the deal, then sell that deal to a qualified cash buyer in closing day. What's a qualified buyer again? They actually met all the criteria that we asked them to, right? They're actually looking to do an assignment of contract. They're okay buying cash, all these things. It's all there. It's simple. It's easy. It ain't complicated. It's just wholesaling houses in 2024. This is going to be either the best year or worst year of your life. Best year because you change it, you make the financial freedom, and everything changes. Or it's just another year and just whimpering by.
Your choice.
It's your choice what you want to be here, right? I feel like so many wholesalers, I'm literally giving you the game plan. I don't know what else I can do for you. I'm telling you what to do. They're not even thinking. Like you're like playing football. Like I'm giving you the play. Stop overthinking it. Run the play, go it, and do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, the tools are laid out on the counter here for you. Who's going to grab them? And who's actually going to use the tool? Because just grabbing the tool and going in the freewholesaling.com, it's not enough. You got to take that final step. You got to believe in yourself. What's the difference? We all have problems. If you actually have money and you aspire, you can choose the types of problems you have. You're getting problems if you're broke or you're rich. The question is, how are you going to deal with your problems? And when you got money, you can do a lot more. And think about all the people that you help out doing this, guys. I have changed so many sellers' lives by fixing their problems and them entrusting me. It's extremely fulfilling. I'm just telling you, wholesaling, the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you'll make. And once you get the skill set and you figure out this journey of wholesaling, it becomes a lot of fun. And in the beginning, it's a little rough. Why? Just because you're just completely uncomfortable. But if you want it, we can all be comfortable. You got to do the things that nobody else wants to do if you want a life that very few people will ever attain. The reality is most human beings are just complacent. They're lazy. They accept what's going on in life. And if you want to be the exception and not the rule, and you found wholesaling, but hopefully between me and Zach or whoever it is, just believe in yourself and take action. It doesn't take much. I didn't know any more about wholesaling than anybody else watching this. The only difference is I just stuck it out and I kept going. And I'm here 21 years later. He's doing it. He's having a lot of fun. It's all in what you make it, guys. There's plenty of money to go out there and get it. I love wholesaling because you're in control of your final destination. And remember, if time is important to you, and remember, time, in my opinion, is more valuable than money. Wholesaling is the absolute perfect fit for you and your family.
I agree. And so, guys, let us know in the comments. I want to know, the people watching this live are doing this. Are you ready to make a change today? I need you to say in the comments, I'm making a change. I'm going to get my first deal. I'm going to get my 100th deal, whatever deal you're going to get next. Write in the comments. Make it. Put pen to paper and actually make that decision right now. I'm going to make a change. I'm going to cold call and text 1,000 leads this month. Write it down. Write it right now in the comments. Let it stay here forever. And we'll put it on the screen and make it permanent, right? So we got Erica, MJ, Jessely. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yavani, Ive, Erica. This stuff's permanent too. This ain't going off the screen as the recording comes up. So let me get my first deal. I love it. Visionary, Laura, Diane. I love it. I love it. Erica, Maria, Dream Chaser, Jessely. We got here Raymond. Awesome. Jabba. I like it. I'm going to make a change here, guys. We're seeing a difference being made here. We're seeing everyone going out here and making the change. Junior, Missy, everyone's out here doing it. They're going to do it. I'm going to make a change. This is permanent. This is staying here. Now, the question is, you're writing it now. You're going to make the change. Are you actually going to do it? Here's the problem. Biggest issue. You're excited here. You're watching this live event we're doing here. Like, we're pumped up. What are you going to do when you get home tomorrow or on Monday and now you're tired? And, you're a little hungry. You don't want to do the work. Oh, what do you do? Like, what do you do when, here's the problem. Motivation only gets you so far. When the motivation's gone, you need this one thing called discipline. That's the truth. I get anyone jacked up about wholesaling, but it's more about when you wholesale, when you don't want to, than doing it when you do, right?
It's like anything else in life. I mean, the days that either you want to eat right or work out and you don't feel like it, maybe you got a headache, maybe you got a little bit of a sore throat. I just skip today. I'll start next week. I'll start next month. I'll start in 2025. Guys, you're here. We're in a new year, 2024. It's up to you to make that leap of faith. And I'm more charged up about wholesaling than ever. I've been around this thing 21 years. I'm not going anywhere. He's obviously not going anywhere. The question is, where are you going? Either you come along with us for the ride. You got to put in the hard workload. This is a train where you just don't hop on and you ride it. You actually have to shovel coal and you got to dig hard and you got to feed that engine. You got to feed it leads. And more importantly, you're going to have to take the action to go out and meet with as many sellers as you possibly can. And motivated sellers, not people who just need to sell their house. Find problematic properties, find challenged, distressed homeowners, distressed properties, and for God's sakes, go help them out. And when you do that, when you help out enough people, money's not going to be an issue in your life anymore. Is it going to be hard work? Yeah, it's going to be brutal. I'm going to tell you right up front. And if you can't handle it, admit it now. Listen, everybody says they want it. Let's see of all the people we put on the screen, who's actually going to do it. Everybody wants it. The question is, do you want to go through the journey to get there? If you do, it'll be the greatest ride of your life. If you don't, that's fine. Go back to doing what you're doing, but stop complaining about where you are in your life. Either make the change or move on with your life. I mean, just saying I want to do it, like saying it for 5 years, you're not going to get anywhere doing that. Just make a decision. By not making a decision, you've already made a decision. So we're not pitching you a course. I don't have a $5,000 product to offer you with you. We have dumped 3 hours in today and just gave you a virtual live training like you came to an event. So just pretend you just spent 20 grand, because I could easily charge for that, but I'm not.
A lot of people in here.
Yeah. And go out and take the best way you can pay me back is let's partner up, do a deal today, sellmypaper.com. Let's roll. Start at freewholesaling.com. Let's work our way through. If you guys need some additional help, flip with Rick Plus. But as I said, it's never been a requirement. Everything we do, we have a free path.
JV deal, you get Flip with Plus for free.
Exactly.
Simple, right? So, guys, Jessely says is just watch. Here's the thing, Jessely. I don't care what you say. And I'm saying this in the nicest way. And I want everyone who's telling themselves they're going to do it. I don't care what you say. I want you to say it. But at the end of the day, I don't care what you say. I care about what you do. And it's not what you do tomorrow or the next, because you're going to be motivated for a while, right? It's what you do 2 months from now when it's 3 p.m. on a Wednesday and you're just not feeling it. That's exactly when you tell me to just watch. Not now when you're motivated. No, when you're not motivated, when you're tired, when you go off the shift and you're ready to go. That's really when the rubber hits the road. That's really when the wholesaling starts. Muhammad Ali said this. He says, I don't count my sit-ups until they start hurting. And that's what you have to do in wholesaling. Don't start the cold calls or the work until you don't want to, or it's painful, and then you keep going. That is the main change, and that's what you got to see in your life. So guys, if you got any value from us, do us a favor. If you want to learn wholesaling real estate for free, for the low price of $10,000, we're slashing it today to $0. You go to freewholesaling.com. It's our free wholesaling course, right?
Yeah.
I should have done the 10,000 slash the 5, right? I would have gotten this.
I think people are so worn
You
out on
didn't
that
put
crap.
you didn't put your suit jacket on.
I
Guys,
did.
go to freewholesaling.com. We have every guru shaking in their boots because they're scared. They don't know what they're doing. They're a little scared. And if you have a deal you want to send us, a JV deal, just go to sellmypaper.com. Send us a JV deal. We'll do it nationwide. We do a huge map where we do most wholesaling metro markets. And we want to help you become the best wholesaler possible. If you do that, you actually, for everyone that sends us a successful JV deal, you get Flip with Rick Plus absolutely for free, which is awesome. You get to see our next event in April to May. We don't know exactly when. And that'll be an awesome one. We're going to do a live event. You can come for free by just sending us a JV deal there, or you can pay and just come. But I would rather you go and send us a JV deal. But if you want to learn how to do a deal, go to freewholesaling.com. And like always, guys, smash that like button, subscribe, click that subscribe button, and comment below if you're watching the replay right now. If you're watching the replay, comment below exactly your declaration to the world that you are going to make a change. You paid $0 for this challenge. And so what you need to pay is a declaration and pay with your effort, your time, and everything. Do it right now. If you don't do it, it's going to happen. Create that goal, execute that goal, stay disciplined, and do it when you don't want to do it. Think of Zach breathing down your neck when you're tired on a Tuesday cold calling and say, what would Zach do? Zach would say, get off your lazy bum and start doing it, or someone else is going to get rich and you're not going to be a retiring mom. Do it now or it's never going to be done. What would Zach do? What would Rick do? Oh, I'm tired today. What do you think we're going to tell you? You're tired. Work. Do the work. Get rich. This is what happens, guys. We became rich wholesaling houses. We've already made it. I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to go tell you about it. I don't need to wholesale. I frankly don't need to. I like making my millions of dollars, though. What I'm doing it here is I'm just trying to show you something that helped me out. It saved my life, and I'm here to save your life. But you can never do it unless you do the work. So do the work. Do the dedication now. It's all about you. You're the last hope in your family. Either you decide to get rich, become a millionaire, or no one else in your family is going to do it. What are you going to decide right now? Make the change and do it. No excuses, all action. Let's get it. Guys, I love you. Appreciate it. Love you, Dad.
Love
We're
you,
getting
son.
it done here. I love it, guys. If you want to get rich, freewholesaling.com. Subscribe. Flex on a Bro Guru. And I'll see you soon. This is Zach.